congratulating the new franchise leader in games played, Jose Ramirez.
Now the pitch on the way, swung on, hit high in the air to right field, deep. Wood going back onto the warning track toward the corner. He lunges. He made the catch. He made the catch, and he holds on.
What in the world happened to Mike Sims?
Looks like he's hurting a little bit.
It really does.
Something inside the batting helmet.
Look at that.
Maybe he got a Q-tip stuck in there or something.
He is obviously a little bit of pain.
It
was a bug. It looked like it was a pretty good sized.
It was a moth,
varmint, too. Look at this.
It's a live moth.
Wow, we've seen it all now.
Streaking way back to the wall, and Matt Olson gets us going with a homer.
Thomas races back toward the track, leaps, he makes the catch! A terrific grab from Lane Thomas.
What a shot for Mark Vientos to make that 3 home runs for the Twins here in the 9th inning.
That is hit high and deep to left field. It took a long time, but there's the first Major League home run for Jordan Lawler.
At the wall, Bader makes the catch right up against the wall. Very nice.
Enjoy responsibly.
White Sox baseball.
Genuine excitement.
Swinging a bloop out in the shallow left.
About everything that's been happening.
He's out, and he made an amazing grab. Oh.
Today.
Sweep. That has been the thing the Orioles.
ID on the Orioles radio station. ID on the Orioles radio network. Brett Hollander, Ben Wagner, Rick Betancourt here at Rate Field in very windy Chicago, Illinois. After a frigid day yesterday, the temperature is much more pleasant today, but the wind is howling. We have Ryan Leschko back at home base as the Orioles look to head home very happy if they can sweep away the Chicago White Sox, who, by the way, are coming off of a sweep of the defending American League champion Toronto Blue Jays. The Orioles have an off day tomorrow. It's a 6-game homestand Friday night at the ballpark in downtown Baltimore with the San Francisco Giants coming to town. So a chance to get back to 500 with a win today here against the White Sox. The injury report is brought to you by the Orthopedic Associates of Central Maryland, a division of CAO. Have injuries that can take you out of the game? Visit mdbonedocs.com. Well, Jackson Holliday continues his rehab with AAA Norfolk as he gets closer to perhaps playing in his first Major League game of 2026. He had that right hamate bone injury, and everyone said, you can get back healthy quickly, but do you have the strength back in your hand? Jackson's off to a slow start offensively in 7 games with the Tides. He's just 5 for 27 with 2 extra base hits. He's hitting 185 right now in AAA. He has about another week before the Orioles would have to make a decision on whether or not to promote him to the big leagues and make a roster move, or they technically could option him down if they feel he needs to have a few more games and at-bats. We shall see what Jackson does over the next week or so as he continues to rehab in AAA Norfolk. We're getting closer to first pitch here on the south side of Chicago. Ben Wagner when we come back on the Orioles Radio Network.
A lot of fans and collectors will look at the T206 set as the more famous of the sets that were produced in the early part of the 20th century. And certainly they would carry more financial value. But when you talk to collectors, some will tell you that these T205s are actually more physically attractive. They're maybe the most physically attractive cards produced prior to World War II.
Gorman popped up the first pitch he saw in the 6th inning. So his second trip to the plate. Full count. Swing and a drive. That's a mammoth shot for Gorman. A long home run over the bullpen. Ted Williams always said, get a good pitch to hit. When you do, don't miss it. Nolan didn't.
94-mile-an-hour fastball by Englert and a deep drive. 443-foot shot by Nolan.
Red Sox rally caps worked. Now the Mariners with a bit of an Arabian twist. The Red Sox trying to counteract with the gloves on top of their rally caps. Mariners continue to try to find the winning fashion statement. I think these boys are tired. Deep to left field. Way back. Gone. Wake up, New England. The shaving cream does indeed work.
Well, when we moved downtown San Diego from Qualcomm to Petco Ballpark, new uniforms were on the way, and this is the Padre home white. This jersey is from 2007, which was a career year for myself, winning a Cy Young. There's some different memories that stand out. One in this uniform against the Braves, where I struck out a Padre record 16, wearing this jersey, trying to make the Padre and the Friar faithful proud.
There it is.
And there's a nice play, Connor Griffin. What a play.
Acuna with a good jump, and he will get there. Oh, they got him. Oh, ho, ho. Luis Matos, welcome to the crew.
What a play by Nathan Lucas.
He went into Superman formation.
What a throw by Jared Young. He played that ball beautifully.
Out is the call at second base.
Double play. How about that?
Good stop by Okamoto, and the throw is in time. What a play down at third.
Get the wall. He jumps and he's got it. Crashes into the wall.
Takes a hit away. Going back at the track and a leaping catch. What a snap by the backstop.
Spinning, turning. What a play. Tanner Murray in his big league debut.
Pitches. He just robbed him of a hit.
Body.
I don't even wait till I thaw out.
Hey, put them in a toaster next time. Just toast it, yep. It'll change your life.
Yeah, just an incredible play by Riley Green.
You are an all-star on the field and off, bro.
I appreciate it.
Hey,
thank you.
Riley Green, bro, food genius.
And this one served out into shallow left center. Oh, Dansby Swanson, what a play.
High points for the landing, too.
Toward the corner, he lunges. He made the catch. He made the catch, and he holds on.
O'Neal going a long way. Dives and makes the catch.
Backhanded by Rocchio. Off-balance throw on a bounce.
MLB.tv.
Sean Burke brought his good stuff today. Big fastball blew it by him.
Chance to win cash instantly and other great prizes.
We just getting started. Fans, are you tired of sitting in the dugout with that old beat-up chair? It's time to step up to the plate and score big with PBI Office Furniture in Frederick, Maryland. PBI is open on Saturdays. Swing by their showroom on Monroe Avenue in Frederick and experience the grand slam of furniture shopping. Don't miss out on the Saturday special. Mention this and receive an additional 15% off a purchase of $100 or more. Visit PBI.com today. That's PBI.com. Remember, business grows with PBI. A
lineup switch for the 5-6 Baltimore Orioles, managed by Craig Albanez. Gunnar Henderson will go to the top spot in the order. He will lead off and play shortstop. Taylor Ward now batting second. He will play left field. Adley Rutschman back in the lineup, batting third and catching. Pete Alonso dropped to clean up, and he is the designated hitter. Tyler O'Neill in right field, batting fifth. Ryan Mountcastle at first base, batting sixth. Dylan Beavers in center field, hitting seventh. Kobe Mayo at third base and hitting eighth. And Blaze Alexander coming off of a big day. He will bat ninth, and he will play second base today for the Orioles. Baltimore's Kyle Bradish on the mound. And the White Sox have the former Maryland Terrapin, the right-hander Sean Burke, on the mound today here on the south side. And in for the play-by-play, here's Ben Wagner.
All right, thanks a lot, Brett Hollander. We have our sun peeking back behind cloud cover here on the south side of Chicago as we settle in with a little better crowd this afternoon on getaway day for both of these clubs. Sean Burke, the big right-hander, rocks in, ready for his first pitch to Gunnar Henderson, and it's on the outside corner, called strike one to get us underway. At 1:11 in the Central Time Zone, back Eastern, at home in Charm City, 2:11. And again, we're talking about the Mercury all 3 days here in Chicago. The pitch to Henderson, roped up the right field line and yanked foul. He's in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes. First pitch temperature at 57 degrees, which, talking to some of the locals, 60 is the new 70 over the last month or so. Underway in the first inning, being brought to you by Jones Junction. If your vehicle needs service, stop by Jones Junction. Any make or model, online at jonesjunction.com. 0-2 bounce to the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Henderson, who's homered in back-to-back ball games in 3 out of the last 5. He clobbered a ball on Friday night in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Homered yesterday in a big way. Pitched downstairs from Burke, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the series opener, he hit a majestic soaring fly ball up the line and right. Leading off for the first time today, and in fact, it's the first time the top 3 have changed. Ground ball tapped towards the middle, circled by the shortstop Acuna. Jump throw on to first in time to get Henderson, and there's 1 down. Umpire crew today taking their places around the bases and dusting off home plate in between the first and second hitter of the ball game. That's Willie Traylor. Umpire plate clean is presented by the Maryland Center of Excellence on Problem Gambling. If you or a loved one have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1 up, 1 down. Here's Taylor Ward. Right-hander deals and pumps in a strike. 0-1 on Ward, who's out of the leadoff spot today. Henderson, Ward, and then Rutschman. Pete Alonso bumped down to bat fourth. The 0-1 pitch. Across the knees for a called second strike, and a much better efficiency in the strike zone for the White Sox than what they had yesterday with Sean Smith on the bump. Sean Burke kicks and comes home, and the fastball's way outside. Right on key. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A number of pitches. There was only about a 29-pitch strike zone efficiency yesterday from Shane Smith. Burke with a 1-2 coming in. And And Ward swings and hits a looper up the right field line, fading quickly. Harris can't get there in time. Goes sliding, smothers that ball, traps it on the turf, pops up as it dribbles away from him towards the line, but only a long single for Taylor Ward. Another base hit for Taylor Ward, who's now 15 for 43 at the plate. Off a career year in home runs and base hits overall, he has not slowed down one bit with the Birds. A one-out base runner here in the first. Just underway. Rutschman, switch hitter, batting third. Doing the catching today, 7 for 24 with 4 extra base hits. Has had some good pop on the left side of the plate. Here's the pitch. On the outside corner and strike one on Adley. Out of the lineup yesterday after playing the opener. He went 0 for 3 on Monday night with a walk and a run scored. Adley had been occupying that cleanup spot. The 0-1. That's low. 1 ball and 1 strike on Rutschman. So basically, it's moving Henderson for Ward, Rutschman for Alonso. But behind the scenes, even with the right-hander getting the start today, the bullpen has a lot of lefties in it. And it sounds like the Orioles, talking with a couple of coaches and members of the staff, separation of lefty on lefty between Henderson and then Alonso is a primary objective here too late in ball games to make the matchup scenario a little bit more difficult for the Orioles opponents. Rutschman shears one away foul over the third base dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner at first, 1 out. We're just underway here in Chicago. Orioles will enjoy the off day tomorrow in Baltimore and bring in the San Francisco Giants on Friday. Burke with a move over to first base and hustling back Taylor Ward, who has yet to grab a stolen base yet. Diamond drifts off the third base line with Montgomery and Acuna shaded more towards the middle. 1-2. That's high at the hands. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Rutschman. Swing decisions. The swing just looks so much better now that we're a couple of weeks into this journey of 2026, and you're starting to see the returns and maybe some more comfort in coaches talking about Adley Rutschman from one season to the next. The 2-2. Tapped away foul. Just dribbling to the far end of the Orioles dugout on the first base side. It is tight. It is compact. He's getting the pitches on the outside, certainly over the middle, but also on the inside, the interior part of the zone where Rutschman has been able to attack. And he's been able to uncoil. The 2-2. Outside corner, strike 3 called, and he knew it. Two away here in the first inning. And here comes Big Pete. Pete Alonso to the plate. 8 for 43, a double, a home run. Deep in the right-handed batter's box with a slightly open stance now. The pitch for the right-hander. Breaking ball tumbles in for a called strike 1. Tough road trip for Alonso, 1 for 20 through the Steel City and the Windy City. Burke peeks over the top of his left shoulder, checks in on the lead of Ward at first. He's got a good one. He's leaning. Long hold. Runner stays, the 0-1. That's downstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sean Burke, 26 years of age, was drafted in the 3rd round back in 2021. A cup of coffee 2 years ago, and then a regular in the rotation with a couple of relief appearances last year. Amassed 134 and a third. Walked too many. 1-1. That tumbles in for a called strike. Alonso falls behind looking at the slider. Last year a whip. Walks, hits, and innings pitched at a 145 clip, which is too high. About 4 walks per 9, but the strikeout total is nice. 9 per 9. 1-2 coming, and it's driven out of play over to the right. Good fastball at 94 miles an hour off the fingertips of Sean Burke, which is a little bit below major league average this season, which 4-seam fastball average in the big leagues this year is a 2-mile-per-hour jump through the first 2 weeks of the regular season. From 93 miles an hour to 95. 1-2 to Alonso. Fastball wasted up and away. That's at 94. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Birds batting here in the first. We're scoreless. 2 down, runner at first. Outfield lineup straight away. Another half step away from first, made by Ward. The 2-2 inbound, and a breaking ball pulled foul. Bopping out of the way, third base coach Buck Britton. A little hop, skip, and a jump for Buck. Flashes some signals across the diamond, taken in by Ward. Jason Bourgeois, a great pregame conversation with him today. The first base coach checks the stopwatch. 2-2 to Alonso. In the air up the right field line. The wind's going to push this one deep into the seats. And it stays 2 balls and 2 strikes as the Orioles really have now started to make Sean Burke work. He rebounded to get the strikeout of Rutschman, and Pete's up there battling. You'll see an 8th pitch in this at bat. And the Orioles at bats have gotten much more long and grinding out kind of approach here in Chicago than what they were in Pittsburgh. Strikeout totals are way too high in Steel City. 2-2 inbound, swinging a ground ball back at third base, waiting on a flat-footed Montgomery, corner to corner with the toss in time to get the out on Alonso and retire the side. No runs, a base hit, and a runner left here in the top of the first inning. Kyle Bradish will head to the hill for the Orioles on the other side of the break on the Orioles Radio Network.
Hyundai build this for them and spend the last year of coming up with this concept and getting it off the ground and getting everybody here. It just feels really good to have everybody coming and experiencing the thing that we've been working so hard on. To be able to take the experiences of Comic-Con and add that to a card show just is really fulfilling, because as somebody who grew up going to card shows and still goes to the same card show in the same church basement in Trumbull, Connecticut every month, it's great. Card shows are amazing, but to be able to add all of this experience is what makes this great.
Grounded right side, heading toward the plate, and look at Kendall! Is he safe? Ho, ho, ho! How about that play? What a job by Kendall! Do you believe that one?
How about that leap over Hernandez, who had stretched out to take the throw?
That is unbelievable. Watch Kendall again.
Out to right field, really blasted back. Cal Raleigh finds his first, and it was tagged. A 12-pitch at bat, and it ends with a haymaker from Cal Raleigh.
Cal's focus is being on time for that heater. That fastball, 99 miles per hour. He turns it around to 108 and into right field.
What an at bat for Cal, man.
Great to have you alongside this afternoon. Next to Brett Hollander, I'm Ben Wagner. We've got 50 paperweights in the broadcast booth today as we get underway for Game 3 of this 3-game series. And the Orioles have a shot to sweep the Sox behind Kyle Bradish. Taylor Ward's in left field. Dylan Beaver's in center. Tyler O'Neill in right field. Gloves on the diamond behind him. Kobe Mayo at third. Gunnar Henderson up the middle with Blaze Alexander. And Ryan Mountcastle doing a little excavation away from first base in the line as he drifts wide to his right with Chase Meidroth, the right-handed batter, leading it off for the White Sox. First pitch from Bradish, a fastball in there for a called strike 1. Chase Meidroth, Mooney, Murakami, and then Miguel Vargas in the top 3 for Will Venable and the White Sox. 0-1 from the right-hander. Slider downstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. In the cleanup spot today, Colson Montgomery, Andrew Benintendi, and then Dustin Harris midway through the order. Luis Angel Acuna, Reese McGuire, and Tristan Peters in the bottom third of the card. Bradish comes set in the 1-1. Ground ball past the right side of the bump, bounces right out to Blaze Alexander and plays it over to first base, retiring Meidroth. 1 up and 1 down, and already in the zone much more crisply than where he was against the Pittsburgh Pirates back on Friday night. And coming away from that start in which Bradish was fighting himself, allowing runs, really outwardly frustrated, talking with the media after the ball game about his overall execution of pitches, forcing fastball high on Munetaka Murakami. Gets the signal quickly from Adley Rutschman. Hands come together. The pitch to the left-hand batter. Fastball bounced a couple of times out to second. Sliding grab in the outfield grab. Made by Alexander. Pops up, throws to first. In time to get the out. The in-between hop. Alexander goes sliding underneath it. Puts all leather on it. Then in one fluid motion pops up, throws to first, and gets the out. Pretty defensive play. Two handles, both unique for Blaze Alexander. And we can see why the Orioles love his athleticism. Here's Miguel Vargas. Right-hand hitter, takes high, ball one. We've seen a little bit of everything from Blaze Alexander defensively already this season.
Just amazing. Oh, by the way, he had 2 hits and a walk yesterday and ignited the big rally in the 8th.
The 1-0 downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes on Vargas. That 8th inning was pivotal for the Birds in their come-from-behind effort on what could have been the most frustrating loss of the season, a blowout win, but in the end, a W secured. 3-run rally in the 8th. 2-0, taking all the way. Inside half, a called strike with the sinker. Gunnar Henderson's going to get credit with the big blow, but it took Blaze Alexander, it took Taylor Ward to really lift the Orioles off the mat yesterday.
And another quality start by Trevor Rogers.
The 2-1 fades over the knees, a called strike, and it's 2-2, which pretty much is now routine, right? 6 innings, 2 runs or less from Trevor Rogers. That's what Oriole fans have come to expect watching their left-hander on the mound. Two down, nobody on. Scoreless in the first. Bradish in the 2-2. Swinging a foul off to our right. Hits the windows and back down to a scattered crowd below. And on the rebound, a nice round of applause for a youngster in a hoodie that made the grab. Pat's the big guy next to him. The pitch by Bradish is low. And he moves the count to 3-2.
To your earlier point, Wags, you feel Bradish is due to dominate one. This is a great lineup for him to do that. A lot of inexperience up and down this White Sox lineup.
3-2 on the way. Tap towards third base, but foul. Yeah, there's a lot of young hitters, green hitters in this lineup. They don't face Kyle Bradish all that often, partly because of injury, partly just because White Sox make one trip to Baltimore and the Orioles make one trip to Chicago a year. Bradish has beaten the White Sox twice already in his career. Another 3-2 to Vargas. And he got him. Looking at strike 3. Right over the inside corner with a great 95-mile-an-hour sinker. Couple of bounce outs and a punch out for Kyle Bradish. Opens the first inning this afternoon. No scores. We go to the second on the Orioles Radio Network.
Pop quiz. How do you go from Captain Clutch to the Iron Horse through a milestone and a marathon? The answer is on Hall of Fame Connections.
The captain, Derek Sanderson Jeter, is one of the winningest players in Major League history. He was wearing these very batting gloves when he notched one of those most memorable hits, the 3,000th of his career.
Are we supposed to spit in them like they do the batting gloves?
No spitting. This is a non-spitting museum.
3,000! History with an exclamation point!
He's just the second player in history whose 3,000th hit was a home run. The first was a former teammate from the Yankees' 1996 World Series championship team. But before he began his Cooperstown-bound career, Boggs would cross paths with another future Hall of Famer. September 6, 1995, the Iron Man played his 2,000th 131st consecutive game, surpassing the unbreakable record of the Iron Horse.
Now that's how you pass the torch.
Catch every episode of Hall of Fame Connections on MLB.tv and discover your own connections to the game at Baseball Hall.
Just getting started this afternoon in Chicago, Illinois. I'm Ben Wagner with Brett Hollander. Thanks for joining us as the Orioles come to the plate in the second, scoreless with the White Sox. Tyler O'Neill, Ryan Mountcastle, and Dylan Beavers coming up. Sean Burke, the big right-hander, looks through the sunshine, picks up the target, and deals. Goes with a slider on the inside corner, strike one. O'Neill didn't get the start yesterday, but he had a couple of base hits coming off the bench. Started on the series opener, went 1 for 4 with a ribby. Slider in the dirt. Kicks up a little plume of chalk in the left-handed batter's box. 1 ball and 1 strike on O'Neill. Rocks back and forth. Now idle. The pitch to him. Spins away from the inside corner, and it did get him. It clipped him on the arm. That was a backup sinker that didn't back anybody up. It just plunks O'Neill. And the Orioles have their second base runner.
Ben, I'm going to make the determination that Blaze Alexander play at second base, that was the best play on grass for today. Looking for an easy upgrade for your lawn this season? Go with Pennington Grass Seed, the official partner of the Baltimore Orioles grounds crew. Pennington Grass Seed, the grass is greener.
I'm going to agree with you, too. Angling to his left, sliding in the outfield grass, and popping up off one knee. They'll Bradish fire a 1-2-3 first. Here in the second, a swing and a miss by Ryan Mountcastle. Starts in the hole, 0-2. Mouta came off the bench in the 5th inning yesterday as a pinch hitter for Colton Cowser. Craig Albernaz not going to shy away from using his bench. You know, we're getting to know Albie, and if the matchup seems to be the best in the 5th inning, he's going to push the button. The 0-1, driven out of play off to the right, no balls and 2 strikes. And the fact that just the pure numbers stick out. Colton Cowser is not handling left-handed pitching that well, and he's not making a lot of contact this season at all. So they thought the matchup was better, so they went to Mountie. Runner at first, the 0-2. Inside.
This Orioles roster, like every other roster, might not be perfect, but the one thing this roster can do, it can match up late in the ball game, depending on who starts and who starts the game on the bench. And the Orioles were able to do that yesterday and basically do a line change middle of the game.
1-2 pitch. Bouncing on the left side of the diamond. Cut off in the hole from Montgomery, moving to his left. Throw to second for 1. Throw to first, not in time. Mountcastle beats out the bang-bang relay. White Sox aren't sure. Will Venable holding up his right hand. Palm towards the diamond, then waves off the replay. So there's 1 on and 1 down.
The other thing is, Wags, he's passing around the DH role. He's passing around a day off here or there. And I know it's early in the season, but you're thinking long term. And I can't tell you how many managers say going into every offseason and every season, this is going to be the year I'm going to rest my starting catcher and my starting center fielder. And then the games start, and it really matters. And they don't do it.
Best laid plans, as they say. Here's Dylan Beavers. Fastball up and away to him. Ball 1.
Next thing you know, August 1st rolls around, and your catcher or center fielder are mired in a deep slump, and you think about those days you could have given them in the early part of the year to keep them fresh and ready.
Just flat out run out of gas sometimes. Runner at first, 1 down, the 1-0 to Beavers. That's high. 2 balls and no strikes. And that's a byproduct of what Albie learned as a coach in the bullpen, as a catcher instructor with the San Francisco Giants, and reflecting and having a lot of conversations with Buster Posey. Buster Posey admitted to Albie, he said, you know what, I wish I would have lobbied more or not fought against the preparedness of an off day. Fastball in for a called strike on Beavers, and it's 2-1. And we heard that in Pittsburgh that Chicago had been earmarked as a day to get Pete Alonso off his feet, Gunnar Henderson off his feet. Both have DH'd now in Game 2 and Game 3 of this series. Rutschman had the day off yesterday.
And you do that and you stick to your plan even if your team is not playing their best or off to a bad start. It already felt like the heat was on at 3-6. Feeling much better about things now, but you still stay with it.
The 2-1 pitch. Outside, 3 balls and a strike on Dylan Beavers. And you mentioned that 3-6 start. Orioles won their first series of the season, taking 2 out of 3 against the Twins. Lost 2 of 3 then against the Texas Rangers. Were bounced all 3 in Pittsburgh. The off days just were a byproduct of winning back-to-back games. All by design. 3-1. Beavers Takes on the outside corner, a cold strike.
But you're sending the message to your players that, yes, the start is not good, but we still have big plans here, and we have plans to give you a DH day or an off day. We're sticking with them. So it really does two things. One, it gives your player a break, or in the case of a DH, maybe a half day. And then you're sending the message that we're not panicking here. We're not going to alter our plan because of a start we're not happy with.
Both individually and for the ball club, too. Golden Cowser, Jeremiah Jackson got a lot of playing time early. They're left out of the lineup today. Beside the backup catcher, and Leone Taveras on the bench. Runner from first is going, pitches way outside. That's ball 4. Throw went through anyway, but it doesn't matter. Beavers will take the walk. And the Birds, in some capacity, have gotten each of their first 3 hitters on. Tyler O'Neill was hit by a pitch. Mountcastle bounced into a fielder's choice. And now Beavers gets the free pass. And the Orioles have runners at first and second with 1 out. And Kobe Mayo coming up on a blustery day here in Chicago. Kobe 1 for 6 in the series with a couple of free passes. (1-0). Over for a called strike. One ball, 1 strike. And the pitch. Right in there for a called strike. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. One down here in the second. Burke standing in the breeze. Pitches. And a breaking ball down to the dirt. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Orioles had a ton of traffic yesterday in their victory, trying to harness those base on balls, and they know it. They left an opportunity to really create some early offense and make that game an absolute disaster for the White Sox bullpen. Two coming. Swing and a tip off into the glove, and it's held for strike 3. Second strikeout for Burke. Walks this season are brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Get out of pain and back to doing what you love at the Good Feet Store. Go to goodfeet.com to find a store near you and book your appointment today. Can they take advantage of this second inning walk? Blaze Alexander will try to do it. Blaze was on base 4 times yesterday. A double, a base hit, reached on an error and was hit by a pitch. It's really good to see him in the lineup today, especially after that plunk. Looks at a curveball in for a called strike 1. Even bridging one day to the next, you never know after a player is hit in the head with a pitch how his body will respond. Sometimes it takes hours. You're worried about the concussion, the brain injuries, the time that it takes to really sink in. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Expanded the zone. Couldn't catch up to it. No balls and 2 strikes on the number 9 batter. Was hit right on the crown of his batting helmet in his first at bat yesterday. Now asked for time. Behind 0-2. Both threatening in the second. Outfield lined up straight away. Infield relaxed. Might drop drifting from second more towards the middle. 0-2. That's high. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Alexander, who gets plenty of reps on the diamond, and that's primarily the focus when he gets to the ballpark every day. But he's doing a lot of work during batting practice when the Orioles have it. They didn't have it today, but he's out there doing power shags. 1-2. Driven out of play out to the right. Power shagging still exists in the game. Used to be a term coined by pitchers who would get their work in. Help out with that day after pitching and the flush to break up the lactic acid in their legs. But Blaze Alexander, working with Jason Bourgeois, said get out there during batting practice and get some live rounds. The 1-2 in the air up the right field line. Harris drifting towards the corner, fighting the breeze, still on the move next to the screen, runs out of room. That ball did not stay playable. It skims off the screen, but it was driven way to the right by that force of a breeze coming from left to right off of Lake Michigan.
Yeah, it is going to be an adventure all day for the outfielders and really anyone, catchers included, infielders included, anything that's popped up or hit in the air at all. It's hard to even get a read on it, depending on where you look and what flags you're looking at any particular point.
Just in the last inning, the flags have completely reversed course.
And right now, I'm just playing defense against the wind with all my papers.
You're losing. The 1-2. Swinging a foul back.
Well, I'm old school. You know, I have a lot of papers every game. You work a lot off your iPad. And I have a computer, too, which is now down because it almost was blown right out of the booth.
We had a heart-racing moment earlier. Somebody cracked open the door behind us, and both the laptop in front of me and your Surface lifted off the table. 1-2. Another foul over the first base dugout, out of play.
That would have been bad news for anyone below us.
Well, in about row 18, there's a couple of guys that might have worn one right on the dome. Really, really big dent in the capital budget early.
It's a new Surface, too, by the way.
Has that smell. 1-2. Ground ball towards the middle. My drop waiting on it. Got a room service hop. Long throw to first base. In time and on target to retire Alexander. No runs, no hits. There was hit by pitch and a walk.
Let's open this up. Take a look at what we find. Looks like we've got Lauren Shahadi.
Animation is great.
We got Robert Flores, one of the stars of MLB Central with Lauren Shahadi. Then we got Mark DeRosa. Look at that. He looks like Superman, does he not?
Right? He was when he was with the Cubs.
Harold Reynolds looking ripped in a tracksuit in Studio 42. There I am. The hair's all
I know this guy.
Look at that jawline.
3-2 comes home. Freeman drills a ball in the air, right center field. How far will it go? Big man power, Freddie Freeman.
A fastball near the middle, and he doesn't miss it at all. That's the swing. Here comes the sound.
That was a Shohei sound.
It was really good.
Shohei ball flight, too. There's the bunt. That could be trouble as Petrie. No, Stevie dives in and beats it. Good effort by Steve Lyons.
And that'll be a base hit right there. Good job. I'll tell you one thing, not a bad defensive play either by the Tigers.
Did you see that? He's going to get the dirt out, and all of a sudden he unbuckled his pants and they fell down.
Really good start by Kyle Bradish. He goes 3 up and 3 down to the first inning, delivering today's fast play of the game. Brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Play fast play, home run riches from the Maryland Lottery all season long. Bottom 2, no score. Colson Montgomery, Andrew Benintendi, Dustin Harris coming up to face the right-hander. Montgomery, a left-handed batter, looks out. Bradish brings it home, and the first pitch is ripped foul, first base side. He was all over that four-seam fastball at 92 miles an hour. Montgomery, one of the young offensive rising stars for the White Sox. 8 for 38 with a double and a couple of homers. 0-1, swing and a miss over the slider. And the hole 0-2. It was a 12-pitch 1-2-3 first for Kyle Bradish. Montgomery asks for time, stretches out his arms. Bradish is set and ready, and he brings it home. Slider down and in. 1 ball and 2 strikes. When Kyle Bradish is rolling, there are a few better in the game. Over the last 2+ seasons, the 6th best earned run average in Major League Baseball when he's on the bump. 1-2. Lined off to the left, out of play. Rubs up the baseball with 2 bare hands. Slides the glove back on. Pressed against the traveling grays of his jersey. Baltimore and script arcing across the chest. The 1-2. Down and in with the slider missing. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Montgomery. Heavy usage on the fastball and the slider here early. 2-2. Tapped away foul at home plate. Home whites for the White Sox with those black pinstripes on their jerseys. Solid black caps. Bright orange bill for the Orioles today. The pitch. Inside corner, strike 3 called. Got him looking at a fastball. Second strikeout for Kyle Bradish. Both have gone down looking in consecutive order. Now 4 up and 4 down. And he gets the veteran, Andrew Benintendi, who's entering year 4 of his 5-year deal that he signed for $75 million here in Chicago. Pitch from Bradish. Bounces in, ball 1. At the start of this contract, it looked like he was going to be a piece of a winning culture. But it has been a complete teardown now twice with the White Sox. But they really believe they've got pitching and position players coming. Hit the reset button in this franchise. 1-0 line drive over the leap of Mountcastle. A base hit into right field, digging deep into the corner. Benintendi turns on his first double. Now thinking about his first triple of the season. Relay throw coming from Alexander, not in time. Over at third. Benintendi, that's the 3-bagger. Tyler O'Neill had a long way to run, and that ball was whistled up the right field line for an extra base hit. Way over the outstretched glove of Mountie, up the right field line. And the relay from Alexander laid over at third base. A 1-out triple for the White Sox, who threatened for the first time. And here you get Dustin Harris. Made his White Sox debut yesterday. Infield drawn in here early. We're scoreless. And the pitch lined to straightaway center field. That's in for a base hit. Benintendi went back to tag. Now he'll trot across the dish on an RBI base hit from Harris, making it 1-0. Took it right back up the middle. He's got his first hit. He's got his first run with Chicago. One 1-0 White Sox.
Yeah, you don't want this second inning to become like the last second inning for Bradish, where all 4 runs he allowed against the Pirates came in the second inning. He just couldn't stop the bleeding.
Luis Angel Acuna, runner from first, is going with a massive jump, and a good job by Acuna. He just takes the pitch as Harris slides into second with a stolen base. That was a timing play. Bradish was still in the set position when the runner at first took off. In scoring position and an RBI opportunity from Acuna. Ronald's brother, the 1-0. A bunt, and it came up and got him in the batter's box, a foul ball. Late square around by Acuna, trying to sneak his way on. But he fouled it right in front of the plate, and then it pulled right back to him in the batter's box. So it's just a foul ball. Now, if that ball would have been bunted and it hit him outside the batter's box, he would have been out. Runner at second, 1 out. Acuna showing his versatility after playing the first 2 games in the outfield. Shortstop today. Swings and fouls it back, and it's 1-2. That's one thing new general manager Chris Getz was talking about, the acquisition of Acuna, which they did by trading Luis Robert Jr. to the New York Mets. Solved the center field problem with the New York Mets. By the way, he's started the season great in Flushing. But it gave them more versatility here in Chicago with Acuna. The 1-2. Tails outside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. But it also really took a piece of what was the everlasting problem in clubhouse culture away from the clubhouse with Will Venable as well. 2-2. Hit sharply up the middle, a base hit, dribbling into left center field. Rounding third, Harris comes in to score. Back-to-back RBI base hits. making it 2-0. Acuna drives in his first of the season, and his first as a White Sox. And 3 consecutive White Sox batters have reached. And there's still one down. The triple by Benintendi set it up. Dustin Harris knocked him in with a base hit and then promptly swiped second. Acuna singles him home. Reese McGuire takes the first breaking ball down and in, ball 1. McGuire hitless and limited at Pats, 0 for 10 to start the year. He's been around the block consecutive seasons, calling Sweet Home Chicago home. Last year he was on the north side. He's back on the south side for the second time, wearing black. 1-0. In the air towards left field. Ward, late break forward, has to play it on a bounce. They'll make that 4 consecutive White Sox to reach via the base hit. That was a soft single the opposite way. And not an easy read either for Taylor Ward. Played it out in left field with the wind whipping around. That ball took a nosedive quickly. Best contact of this bunch, the triple by Benintendi. That was rifled up the right field line. And 3 soft singles.
Yeah, it was 4 consecutive hits against the Pirates in the second inning. There were some walks in there too. But this season, in just a few starts, what we've seen is Bradish stumble and then have a hard time getting out of it.
Needs something on the ground here. Can he get it from the rookie, Tristan Peters? Left-hand hitter, choking up off the knob. Squares around, bunts with him up the first baseline. Mountcastle charges in to get it, but he's got nobody to give the ball to. Alexander was racing towards the bunt. Mountie went for it, so did Bradish, and then first base was left unoccupied. It's an infield bunt single to load the bases. That's 5 straight White Sox at the plate and reaching.
Did Bradish just give up on that? I'm just not sure. It was a great bunt, and I'm not sure if they get him at first anyway.
He powered down, crisscrossing with Mountcastle, and maybe in the back of his mind said, why waste my legs trying to get over to first base? Give the man his bunt single. Still one down, couple of runs in. Bradish in dire need of a ground ball. The pitch, and the leadoff man, Chase Meindroth, takes in tight, ball 1. It was a 12-pitch first inning, 1, 2, 3. It's now been a 20-pitch second inning for Bradish. They still got 1 out. Infield drawn in. The 1-0. Right over for a called strike.
And he began this second by striking out Colson Montgomery. And he was on his way, it seemed. And Montgomery, presumably one of the 2 or 3 best hitters in this White Sox lineup.
1-1. Bounce to the plate. Bradish behind again. 2 balls and 1 strike. Sacks are packed around the O's right-hander. Acuna, McGuire, and Peters aboard. Infield in. 2-1 to Meindroth. Driven out of play through the air off to the right. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, the list of needs right now is basically 3. Get a strikeout, get a pop up on the diamond, or get a double play ball. Outfield lineup straight away. Ward deep in left. Righty on righty. Bradish to the plate. Swinging a ground ball out to Henderson. Feeds second for 1. Alexander on the turn. Got it! And call it 2. A double play that will retire this side and stop the bleeding as 5 Chicago White Sox.
Do you guys make your own brisket here?
Yes, we do. We do. We are known by our brisket.
Barbecue brisket sandwich. Quality is better than other places, and it looks good. We're ready to eat.
We go to an average 500 briskets per game. We hear a lot from our fans. They want to try something with wrap, easy to eat. So we say, well, let's do like a, brisket, wrap, and an egg roll.
That's beautiful. You get the gold medal for culinary brisketry here in Texas.
Yes.
center. Kittle turning around. Goodbye, home run. No, it hit the roof. It hit the roof and came back in. He may have it inside the park home run. No, they're going to hold him. They can't. He went through the sign. Fisk has got him. There's one for the books.
This is going to be one of those games that you're going to have to fight the elements. Wow!
And I don't think that'll be the last bat toss we see tonight.
I would imagine not. As he slid behind Neto, took out his legs, but Neto held onto the ball.
Check out what our cameras caught. That's right. Smacking himself in the face when he really likes to pump himself up and make himself angry.
Oh, he used the hat. That's pretty nice. Yeah, take a bow. All right, absolutely.
Reality. Visit mmp.maryland.gov and follow us on social media at Maryland MMP. That's mmp.maryland.gov.
What a double play turned by the Birds to get out of the jam. It's 2-0 Chicago as we go to the third inning. Double plays are brought to you by Slocum Law. At the Mike Slocum Law Firm, we're tough because tough gets you more money. Over $1 billion so far. Injured after an accident? Call the Mike Slocum Law Firm. Underway on the south side of Chicago, and in the third, the play-by-play story from Brett Hollander.
Thank you, Ben. Gunnar Henderson leading off for the Orioles. And Sean Burke delivers after a strike one, a ball down and in. And it's 1-1 to Gunnar. Gunnar's homered 3 times on this road trip. He's been sizzling, driving the baseball. Bats here with the Orioles down 2-0, and he takes one down. 2-1 to Gunnar Henderson with Sean Burke on the mound. The former Maryland Terrapin has pitched 2 scoreless to begin today. Third outing of the year for Burke. The 2-1. Gunnar takes a close one, a little low. Lays off a pretty good slider, and it's 3-1. The Orioles have already left on 3 today. Yesterday was kind of out of this world until it wasn't. Gunnar fouls it just below us, 3-2. Yesterday, the Orioles left on 14. They basically had a threat in every single inning and were 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Time called here. Now Henderson ready. The 3-2. That's ball 4, leadoff walk. A leadoff walk after Chicago gets a couple of runs off of Kyle Bradish. 55 pitches already for Burke going to work here in the third. That's nothing, though, like Shane Smith, the starter yesterday for the White Sox, who was a strikeout or a walk to almost every batter to begin the game. His pitch count was historically high in short order. He got 11 outs on 99 pitches. Taylor Ward will bat. Ward a swing and a miss on one. Ward's already singled today, among the league leaders in baseball and on-base percentage. But the Orioles had one of their most frustrating days yesterday for a variety of reasons. The main one, just the inability to come up with a big hit, and they were constantly threatening. This is fouled out of play off to the right, 0-2 to Ward. All day, they just couldn't break the dam. And then finally, Blaze Alexander, it seemed almost innocently at the time, doubled with 1 out in the 8th. And you're thinking, okay, but so what? But then Taylor Ward drove him in with an RBI double. And it was 2 opposite field doubles that got the Orioles on the board. Inside for a ball, 1-2. That before the Henderson blast to give the Orioles the lead.
One of 15 at-bats with a runner in scoring position yesterday.
3 for 15, the damage late. 1-2 to Ward with Henderson leading from first. Here's the pitch. This is fouled out of play off to the right. Now the good news is, despite some strikeouts, and there were many, they did work long and tough at-bats. They earned some walks against Smith. They drove up his pitch count. Gunnar Henderson in particular, in a big spot, had a 12-pitch at-bat. He struck out eventually, but it was a reason why Smith was knocked out of the ballgame. Upstairs with a breaking ball that never came down, 2-2. Smith, by the way, optioned down to the minor leagues today He started opening day for Chicago and was their all-star last year. Tough business. And he was a bit unlucky in his first 2 outings. 2-2 to Taylor Ward, the pitch. Inside for ball 3. 3-2 as the pitch count for Burke continues to climb. The White Sox had to really chew through a lot of their bullpen yesterday. They had to use 5 relievers to get through the game, including some of their most accomplished ones. 3-2 to Ward. The pitch. Taylor hits a line drive base hit, a screamer, into the left field corner. Henderson heading for third. Buck Britton's going to wave him in. The throw from left field, and Benintendi hits the cutoff man, but Henderson will do a belly flop on the plate to score. Without a throw from Chicago, and it's a 2-1 lead for the White Sox. Cut in half on a screaming double off the bat of Taylor Ward. He is 2 for 2, and he is among the league leaders not only in on-base percentage, but doubles as well. And he's at second base. Henderson scores from first, and another great send by Buck Britton.
Acuna lost it a little bit on the transfer, didn't have it cleanly, elected not to make a play to the plate, and by the time he got the baseball at least nestled in his hand, couldn't make a throw to second either.
Rutschman looks at a strike 1. 0-1 to Adley. Nobody out. Ward at second base. What an early ad Taylor Ward has been as Adley takes a strike 2. 0-2. Rutschman falls behind quickly after striking out looking in his first at-bat. I have all these numbers on Taylor Ward, but I can't go to them right now, Wags, because I'm afraid I'm going to lose everything here. That was his 7th double of the season. 0-2 to Rutschman. Ward leads from second. Burke from the stretch, his pitch. This one goes right to the backstop, and Ward will advance to third base. It may have hit the glove of the catcher, Reese McGuire, so we'll see if they call it a pass ball. But Ward can walk to third base on that. And now the White Sox, up a run 2-1, will bring the infield in. They're calling it a wild pitch. 1-2 to Adley with the polar bear on deck. The pitch. A breaking ball that stays high. 2-2 to Adley Rutschman. Well, you get the big double play ball with the Orioles infield drawn in and Bradish really fighting it on the mound. And you come back and you get a quick run. That's good. Adley hits a slow roller to the left side. A diving stop by Acuna at shortstop. He fires to first in time to get Rutschman, but that will drive in a run, all because of that wild pitch. And we're starting over in the top of the third. A 2-2 game as Ward scores. Adley, and that was good hitting. Out of the catcher's mitt with the infield drawn in. He almost got it past Acuna at short. He had to make a diving stop on it, but he was able to get the catcher Rutschman at first base, but that drives in a run. Give Adley his third RBI. Here's the polar bear, who hits this high in the air, twisting foul down the left field line, 0-1. Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID on the Orioles Radio Network. Pete Alonso takes a knuckle curve inside. 1-1 to Alonso. Batting now with 1 out and the bases empty. Pete hits this foul out of play off to the right. 1-2. It would have been very fitting if Alonso homered yesterday as the polar bear in one of the coldest games in the history of Orioles baseball. But it did not happen. He is hitting some balls on the screws. He just has nothing to show for it. 1 for 21 on a tough road trip. The 1-2. Alonso late on the fastball. That was elevated. Pete Alonso down on strikes, 2 away. He is the Orioles cleanup hitter, and it's fueled by Club Citgo. Clean up on savings on every fill-up with Club Citgo. Download the app now to start saving. 2 outs, bases empty, and Tyler O'Neill will bat. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. Alonso now 1 for 22 on this road trip. Low for a ball, 1-0 to O'Neill. He'll be happy to come home to Camden Yards. He was swinging it well when the Orioles hit the road. O'Neill lifts his shallow center. Peters, center fielder, racing in. The second baseman, Maidroth, is out. Battling the wind, he makes the catch, and the side is retired. But the Orioles tie this game. They get a walk, an RBI double, and then...
And you're just too stylish to have superstitions.
Zero. I can't do it. Too many colored cleats, too many gloves, too many batting gloves, too many bats.
I do put on my right glove first, then the left, then the thumb guard, then I put on my leg guard, my elbow guard.
Anything you put on first?
Nah, not really.
Nothing?
Nah. I like to say I'm not superstitious, but a little stitious.
Gorman ahead in the count. Cardinals down 5. Swing and a drive. That's a mammoth shot for Gorman. A long home run over the bullpen.
No, that was a pretty easy swing by Gorman, and that ball went way over the Cardinals bullpen in right field. He has tremendous power.
Get a good pitch to hit. When you do, don't miss it. Nolan didn't.
443-foot shot by Nolan Gorman all over it. Deep right field for Gorman. He got all of it.
And on the ground sharply beyond third, and it's going to roll down the left field line toward the corner. Burrell picks it off the cutout. He's going to have a play at second. Millar is out at second base.
What a slide.
He slid short of the bag, and Tomas Perez puts the tag on him, and now they're chatting. What a nice scene.
That wasn't a real good slide.
Hey, Bert Lynch here on the Orioles on Saturday, April the 11th, when they play the San Francisco Giants. Be one of the first 15,000. Get a Jackson Holiday and Coconut bobblehead. Buy your tickets right now at Orioles.com/tickets. Back again, Brett Breezy Hollander.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We've seen it all on this road trip. Ball one delivered to Murakami from Kyle Bradish. 2-2 game, bottom 3. And to use the parlance of the times in baseball, Ben Wagner, this would be a good time for Kyle Bradish to shove. Murakami takes low for a ball. 2-0. We've been waiting for it in his first few outings, still very early in the season. We know how talented he is. His team just tied the game up at 2. Put the pedal to the metal. The 2-0, slow tapper back to the mound. It's past Bradish, charging in Alexander. A glove flip to the bag, but it's over the head of Alonso. And Murakami will reach with an infield hit. A well-placed big chopper to the right side. And that is an infield base hit against Bradish.
I think he had time to go to the bare hand, don't you?
Yeah.
Murakami, he was running hard, and I know the internal clock is probably moving at warp speed for Blaze Alexander, partly because just the distance he had to charge in to get that baseball. And now looking at the replay a couple of times, I think he did have time to get it out of the glove and shovel it off with the bare hand.
Yeah, the glove flip was just well over the head of Alonso, or Mountcastle, I should say. So used to Pete over there. Vargas squares around a bunt, pulls back, and on the back pick throw from Rutschman, too late, as Murakami gets back to the bag. That was called a strike, by the way. 0-1 to the batter, Miguel Vargas, who struck out against Bradish in the first. 2-2 our score. White Sox already with 6 base hits. 2 have been infield hits that were gently placed. 1 was a bunt. Foul back behind home plate, 0-2. A slider from Kyle Bradish. By the way, a lot of fun things planned on this homestand. Can't wait to get back home. Off day tomorrow, a home off day, and then a couple of interleague series. Through the National League West, the San Francisco Giants, and then the Arizona Diamondbacks before we hit the road again. Cut and a miss. A nasty slider diving in the dirt. Bradish gets the punch out number 1 in the bottom of the third. For Kyle Bradish, that's his third K. He struck out Vargas twice. A lot of fun giveaways, big events. Can't wait to get back home. Note, Friday and Saturday, and Wags, correct me if I'm wrong, radio broadcasts in the game start at 7:15. That's low to Colson, Montgomery, 1-0. I should say the broadcast itself will start at 6:40. Game time, 7:15. Friday and Saturday, 2 nationally televised games. The only Orioles broadcast will be on radio both days. So tell your friends. Montgomery pops this up foul out of play off to the left. Actually, tell your enemies. I don't really care who you tell. Just tell them.
Just tell everyone. Scream it from the mountaintop. 7:15, the first pitch is, yes, on Friday and Saturday. You're right about national television coming in. It is an Apple TV broadcast on Friday and then a Fox broadcast on Saturday.
The pitch. Montgomery taps his foul towards the Orioles dugout. 1-2. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Wags, on that Apple cast, you can actually choose to watch the game and listen to our radio broadcast.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And if you're out of market and you're getting the game through the MLB.TV app, you can also do the same thing. Just go to your broadcast options, toggle over to 98 Rock, WBAL.
It's not that hard.
They made it simple for people like the left side of the booth.
For me, too. 1-2 to Montgomery. Bradish at 45 pitches. This is down the right field line, on a line, and it will hook foul off the side wall, and we'll do it again. 2-2 our score, bottom 3, 1 away, and Colson Montgomery, who struck out against Bradish, is the batter down in the count, 1-2. Now the Giants, an interesting ball club, by the way. A lot of well-known players, including Rafael Devers.
Matt Chapman,
but they are off to a terrible start. This is coming back right towards us, and it's right below us. I was ready. And I stayed on the microphone, too.
You were something.
Like a cat. It was right towards me, but landed just below me.
It looked like an athletic pose. It really did.
Well, right now I'm just trying to cover, and this is worth a picture, Wags. Me just holding everything down, calling this game. The pitch, up and in. 2-2 with a two-seamer. Bradish trying to finish off Colson Montgomery here in the bottom of the third. And no extra layers for us today. No winter cap, nothing like that, but just very breezy. The pitch, outside ball 3-2. And you can tell Bradish is fighting it right now. He's just having a hard time putting the baseball exactly where he wants to. Yeah, that Giants team, it's kind of an interesting case study with a collegiate coach. There goes the runner from first, and this is fouled away. Ninth pitch of this at-bat forthcoming. Orioles hoping for a sweep here and get well at home. Bradish, his payoff pitch. There goes the runner again. And it's a called strike 3. The runner stopped about a few steps towards second, goes back to the bag. Rutschman's throw went all the way to second base. He would have been toast. Out number 2. Adley came up firing. I think he's frustrated. He would have had another caught stealing.
Had a couple strike him out, throw him out double plays in this series already. And Rutschman's jumping out of the chute, and he's laying it right over the bag, too.
4th strikeout for Bradish. He gets back-to-back Ks here in the bottom of the third. There are 2 away. And Andrew Benintendi, who tripled and scored his last time up, will bat again. And he looks at one outside for a ball, 1-0. Kyle Bradish, originally a 4th-round pick by the Angels in 2018 out of New Mexico State. Born in Peoria, Arizona. Orioles acquired him in that Dylan Bundy trade in December of 2019. The pitch, now back behind home plate. 1-1. Orioles got back a bunch of pitching in some trades, including one that sent Alex Cobb away. The Bundy trade, the other. In the Bundy trade, the Orioles got Zach Peak, Kyle Brnovich, Isaac Mattson, and Bradish. There's a strike. 1-2 with a four-seamer. Mattson's become a really good reliever for the Pittsburgh Pirates. We just saw him. The 1-2 pitch to Benintendi from Kyle Bradish. There goes the runner from first, and it's a swing and a miss, but it kicks up on Rutschman. He grabs in the air, fires to first, in time. On a drop third strike that could have been a disaster, the veteran catcher Adley Rutschman with a terrific play, waiting for that ball to come down. It eventually did, and then from far to the left of home plate, he fired a strike to Ryan Mountcastle to complete the...
Bader going back, still going back at the wall. Bader makes the catch right up against the wall. And Harrison Bader, very nice play.
Thomas races back toward the track, leaps, he makes the catch! He tumbles to the warning track dirt right in front of the shorter right field fence, and he hung on for the out. A terrific grab from Lane Thomas in deep right field.
Scalds it out towards left center field. Long run, Thomas. Can he reach it? Oh, he can! Yes, he can! What a sliding grab by Alec Thomas. That is hit high and deep to left field. It took a long time, but there's the first Major League home run for Jordan Lawler.
There is no stopping that young man.
Susac is 3 for 3 in his first big league start. They're just losing their minds over there, thinking, yeah, our kid can hit.
Jammed and a little pop-up. Everybody's coming, but the pitcher wants it. Now he's going to give way.
What's he doing?
It's going to be dropped.
Keystone Cops on the infield for the Rockies.
Isbell's got to beat him. Battling the sun. He bobbles and recovers.
That's a highlight tape and a heck of a catch.
That went straight lawn dart. It's in the ground.
On guard.
That's it.
See, he comes off that stool down there and makes a nice catch, a hot line drive.
And Vladdy's applauding.
Orioles baseball on the radio from the south side of Chicago. Thank you for being with us as Ryan Mountcastle begins the top of the fourth, sending a screamer in the left, and it's caught. Caught in left field by Benintendi in the gap. He reached up, said a prayer, and came down with the baseball. With the wind, and I think he had a bad read on it, he makes that play. A line shot off the bat of Mountcastle, and on one pitch, Ryan is retired. He had to really stretch out for that. One down in a 2-2 game. Top of the fourth inning. Sean Burke still out there for the White Sox. Sean Burke's pitch is loaded. Dylan Beavers 1-0. The fourth inning is brought to you by Toyota. Shop Toyota for legendary style and reliability, starting with the all-new RAV4. Shop Toyota.com for details and deals on your favorite Toyota. Let's go places. This skips and almost hit Beavers. 2-0. Burke now at 76 pitches. Dylan Beavers walked in his first plate appearance. That's a little low, and it's 3-0. By the way, that walk for Beavers, that's his first walk of the season. That's like what Dylan Beavers does. He walks. So interesting that would be his first walk. That's in there for a strike, 3-1. And that's what we saw last year, that he was going to be very disciplined at the plate. And he's had a good start offensively to this season. He's just not walking a lot. Here he looks at a strike 2, 3-2. A fastball at 93 from Sean Burke, who hails from Sutton, Massachusetts. And don't think that for a moment Craig Alvarez didn't bring up the fact that the last two starters for Chicago are natives of Massachusetts. A slow roller past the mound, the shortstop Acuna, waiting for it by the bag at second, slings it to first in time to beat Beavers by maybe a half step. 2 down. Nice play by Acuna. That one had a lot of English on it. It got by the mound. I think that was hit right off the end of the bat of Beavers. And they're 2 away. 2 outs, bases empty. Here's Mayo. That was a very close play at first, by the way. Beavers hustling all the way. Right on right. And a breaking ball in there for a strike on 1.
You look at the size of Dylan Beavers, I think people don't expect him to be as fast as what he is, especially on the bases.
Mayo pops this up. First baseman Murakami calling for it. Back of the mound, and to the last moment, almost to his knees, he makes the catch as the wind.
And 1 pitch, 1 out. Mets have him 1st and 3rd. Little pop towards short. Mason's got it. Rocket to first, and they doubled him up. Bichette wandered too far off first, and Mason Wynn guns him out.
Mason Wynn caught it through a bullet to first base to double up Bo Bichette.
How about that?
A 6-3 double play, doubling up the batter Young and Bo Bichette, leaving Soto at 3rd.
We play in Toronto. Guerrero sends over some good stuff for the guys, so when we play in Toronto, I definitely dive into that.
You gotta be careful with Vladdy, bro, because a Dominican breakfast will put you to sleep, bro. ¿Cómo está sonando la comida dominicana ya?
La comida dominicana ya no sé cómo está sonando, porque obviamente mi esposa me cocina. O sea, hay restaurantes, pero no voy a comer comida latina.
It is a 1933 Gaudi Babe Ruth card. It is 8.5 PSA. It's graded higher than the one in the Smithsonian.
This card at one point came with a packet or a stick of chewing gum.
This card actually is almost a century old. It was bought for a penny.
So the fact that just the heritage of a card like this is now coming up almost 90 years later into an auction, it's a pretty special moment.
.org/joints. That's hopkinsmedicine.org/joints.
Hey, O's fans, the 2026 Birdland membership is available right now. Get guaranteed giveaways, access to $12 parking, concession, and merchandise discounts, plus so much more. A Birdland membership is the most popular way to secure the best seats at the best value. Learn more at Orioles.com/memberships.
That's Ben. I'm Brett. Baseball on the radio. First pitch of the bottom of the 4th. A slow roller right to Blaze Alexander, and he's on to first base. And that is out number 1, and a really important 1 pitch, 1 out for Kyle Bradish, now with 56 pitches to his name on this Wednesday afternoon. A 2-2 game in the bottom of the 4th. Bradish had struck out 3 in a row before that ground out by Dustin Harris. Here's Luis Angel Acuna. And a strike 1 on the inner half with that 2-seamer. Let's see if Bradish can get on a roll now. He works in the stretch with the bases empty. Mayo in at 3rd, and this is in the dirt. Ball 1, it's 1-1. Time for the Johns Hopkins Medicine out-of-town scoreboard. Daytime baseball in Cleveland. And the Guardians are beating the Royals in an American League Central battle. 5-2, bottom of the 7th there. A big chopper hit slowly to shortstop. Henderson gloves it, slings it to first, and it's in time. A great play by Henderson. Acuna runs really well. Gunnar just so smooth there, and a great read on that chopper that he had to charge. 2 down on a couple of ground ball outs. Henderson is playing a great shortstop right now as Reese McGuire will bat. 2 outs, bases empty. Red Sox, by the way, at 3-8. They're beating Milwaukee, who's 8-3, 3-0 that game, heading to the 7th at Fenway Park. Low for a ball to McGuire. Red Sox struggling out of the gate. Orioles actually, despite being swept in Pittsburgh, technically in 2nd place right now in the American League East. That's how early it is. McGuire takes a strike. That's the Johns Hopkins Medicine out-of-town scoreboard, bringing together the best of cardiology and cardiac surgery to provide high-quality patient care. The Johns Hopkins Heart and Vascular Institute is with you every beat of the way. The pitch, roller foul, that caroms off of the protective screen of the Orioles dugout. It remains 1-2. Learn more at hopkinsmedicine.org/heart. Bradish looking for a neat and tidy fourth. He has McGuire 1-2. He fires home. That's low for a ball. A curveball that missed 2-2. Kyle Bradish. His 2-2. That's a called strike 3. Got McGuire looking. Another punch out for Bradish, and he is through 4. 6 Ks for Kyle. He does get his 1, 2, 3, 4th.
It's a 5-man umpiring crew here today, and this young superstar is in the stands.
And did their feet get tangled up? Yes, so Hoppy tripped, or he might have caught that ball.
Down. There's a fastball. There's a flying bat. It's a high card. And that ball is off the ladder. It's actually off the ladder. You never see that.
Haggerty is on with an infield hit. A little tumble behind the mound. Hat fell off. That was awesome. I mean, you just don't see that.
Here we are, Arlington, Texas. This is the Graham Slam Burger. So 2 patties, brisket, caramelized onion, American cheese, ranch aioli, or ranch mayo, if you will.
Oh yeah, we're in Texas.
Yeah.
It's something that you definitely want to take a picture of and just put on the gram. I took a bite of it, but it still looks dope.
It's a burger that looks great, but also delicious.
It's just as hard to hit homers in this ballpark.
There's a drive. I don't care how big the park is. This one is gone. Touch 'em all time. His first major league home run. T.J. Rumfield. First homer of the year for the Rockies. They take a 1-0 lead.
Roof open, roof closed. That would not have mattered. That sounded like a cannon coming off of the bat. Good for him.
Good ball game here as the Orioles look to sweep away the Chicago White Sox. It's a getaway day, 2-2 game in the 5th. Back in for the play-by-play. Here's Ben Wagner.
All right, thank you very much, Brett Hollander. 9-1-2 coming up for the Orioles. Blaze Alexander, Gunnar Henderson, and Taylor Ward. Against the right-hander, Sean Burke deals in the first pitch. Rolled on the ground, picked up at third base by Montgomery, and on to first in time. 1 pitch and 1 out for Blaze Alexander. And that'll bring up Gunnar Henderson, who's had a great day at the plate again. He's had a great road trip. Heck, he's had a great start to the season. Gunnar Henderson is having a great start to the year. The hits are there. The power is there. His defense has looked aggressive and athletic. He is passing every test. First pitch to him is a breaking ball that falls in for a called strike 1. In the leadoff spot for the first time this season. Not unfamiliar territory for Gunnar. Handful of times last year. The 0-1. That's high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Orioles last season had 10 different leadoff batters. Jackson Holliday got the nod more than anybody else. 113 games for Jackson Holliday. 1-1 to Henderson. At the knees, a called strike, and he's going to challenge. He thought that pitch was low.
The previous pitch was called a strike. The batter's challenging.
That is the voice of Willie Taylor. And the pitch is there for a called strike.
Call is confirmed. Baltimore has 1 challenge remaining.
Orioles lose their challenge here in the 5th inning. 1 remaining. Henderson was definitive, tapping the cap. Now he's in the hole. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Burke deals in the dirt. Evens the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gunnar last season, 13 assignments in the leadoff spot, but that was his primary position the year prior to that. 2024, Gunnar Henderson, 119 games as the leadoff man. Left-hand hitter looks out. The 2-2 Off speed, a little cue shot dribbling foul, third base side. Helicopter going from right to left, pole to pole across the ballpark. I don't know that I would like to be a pebble in the tin can on a day like today. One down, nobody on, 2-2. Up and away, 3 balls and 2 strikes on Henderson. And again, the leadoff spot, I don't know, will be long for Gunnar Henderson. Taylor Ward looks outstanding in that leadoff spot. I do like the top 4 today. 3-2. That's vaulted high in the air. This will be an adventure with the breeze. Underneath it, the catcher, Reese McGuire, into a squat, and a basket catch made by McGuire on the dirt in front of the Orioles dugout. Burke was off the bump. Murakami was coming in from first base, but that was going to be Reese McGuire's ball because it came back to him. Nobody else was in the vicinity, and he went down into a catcher's crouch in front of the Orioles dugout, and then at the last moment made a basket catch. Tough play, but an out recorded. 2 down. 2-2 ball game here in the 5th. Taylor Ward, the hitter. He's been on base twice. Burke deals. Fastball in for a called strike. This 5th inning is being presented by Navy Football. Purchase your season, group, and single game tickets today at NavySports.com. 0-1. Ward swings and drives it in the air, straightaway center field. Peters went racing back. Now he camps out and makes the play on the green grass, round number 3. Perfect work in the 5th by Sean Burke. 4.5 gone by.
We play in Toronto. Guerrero sends over some good stuff for the guys, so when we play in Toronto, I definitely dive into that.
You gotta be careful with Vladdy, bro, because a Dominican breakfast will put you to sleep, bro. ¿Cómo está sonando la comida dominicana ya?
La comida dominicana ya no sé cómo está sonando, porque obviamente mi esposa me cocina. O sea, hay restaurantes, pero no voy a comer comida latina.
Franco is going to get at least a double. There's that tough corner. Throw coming in. It's way over. I don't know what happened. It might have hit the stands, and the Padres have scored a run on that play.
Watch this. He goes down, picks it up, and he gets a piece of paper between the ball and his fingers.
That's the weirdest play I've seen in forever.
That's my security right there. That's the bad one, Roscoe Pico train.
Major League Baseball wanted to start doing something with the players and their dogs.
Which one's the dog?
I was undecided on whether to do a dog card or not, but my wife pushed me in the back and she wanted the famous dog, so she told me to do it.
Lacrosse night is coming to Baltimore. Join the Orioles on Friday, April the 24th, as the Red Sox come to town and take on the Orioles during HBCU and Divine Nine Night. Grab a special ticket package and score a limited edition bucket hat as well. Groups of 15 and more can save, and you can get your tickets right now at Orioles.com/ticket packages. Bottom 5 tied 2-2. Tristan Peters, Chase Meidroth, and Mooney Murakami coming to the plate for the homestanding White Sox. Kyle Bradish to work, misses downstairs, ball 1. In the compact line, the pitch. As a little bit low. 2 balls and no strikes. Peters is not known for thump. He's drawn the third baseman, Kobe Mayo, in a couple of strides. Kobe starting right with his toes on the cut of the infield grass. The 2-0. Missed outside. 3 balls and no strikes. Last season, Peters got 12 at-bats with Tampa Bay. Radisson the 3-0. In for a called strike to keep him at the plate. Peters got a bunt single his first time up that loaded the bases. But a 6-4-3 double play was induced from Chase Meidroth. And that got the Orioles out of a massive jam. 3-1 coming. Swinging a pop-up on the diamond. Sun shielding the eyes with the open glove by Mayo, drifting off near the White Sox dugout. He's there with a one-handed squeeze and foul ground. High pop-up drifting with the wind, and a drip by Mayo to his right. Ended up just stepping onto the gravel to handle out number one. Go to the top of the card and bring back Chase Meidroth, who's bounced to second and started that 6-4-3 inning-ending double play that we talked about. Time called by Meidroth. Now he's ready to go. Infield back. Corners are even with the base, but Mountcastle is a little bit further away from first. Pitch to Meidroth. Outside corner called strike. Oh, 0-1 from Bradish. In tight, and that handcuffed Adley Rutschman. Ball clanked off his glove and rolls to the on-deck circle of Chicago. 1 ball and 1 strike. That was weird. One through the breeze is a fastball low, and it's 2-1. Orioles on the Farm is presented by Royal Farms. Don't forget your Orioles Cup the next time you fill up at Royal Farms. Enjoy discounted drinks all year long, only for the O's, only at Royal Farms. 2-1 low, 3 balls and 1 strike. There's some good news, not necessarily active on the farm, but we learned yesterday that Jordan Westberg has started a throwing program in Sarasota. Jordan had been dealing with an oblique issue, and that morphed into an elbow issue. 3-1. And wow, that's maybe low. That hit the glove of Adley Rutschman. But nope, missed outside. 1 out base runner for the White Sox. Jordan Westberg saw doctors. They injected the elbow with the plasma-rich injection, seeing if they could avoid the knife and surgery, preserve something of the regular season for Jordan Westberg. Nobody expected him to be on the diamond in April. May somewhat in the crosshairs of some playing time, perhaps somewhere. Just not sure yet, but this throwing program, certainly a significant step for Jordan Westberg. Moved to first, and Meidroth hustles back.
Yeah, you would think there's going to be a buildup of that. And then in the weeks ahead, we'll see if the determination is made for him to be able to really take live hitting and begin a rehab assignment.
Murakami at the plate. Looks at a curveball in for a called strike 1. It is weeks from being anything significant to even think about a timeline. Again, we don't want to sound the alarm bells that something significant is about to happen with Jordan Westberg, but again, it's a positive sign from what could have been the best worst case scenario out of the situation. 0-1. In the air, hit well out to left field. Ward jogging back onto the warning track. Can't run it down, and that ball lands foul. Thank you very much, Mother Nature, with the stiff breeze blowing across the diamond from right to left on a ball that was hit very well the opposite way. It knifed its way towards the foul pole at 330 and then just landed hitting the outfield wall pad. Foul. That ball carried way better than I ever thought it would. Runner back at first, 1 out. We're tied at 2. The pitch to Murakami. Low. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the White Sox. Japanese import at first base. 249 professional home runs in the Japanese league. 1-2. Missed away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's got 4 home runs in the States. Blaze Alexander retired him on a nifty play at second his first time up. He got an infield single leading off the third. 2-2. Tapped off foul in and out of the glove of Rutschman. White Sox at 4-7. The Birds trying with a win today to get to 500. Bradish the long hold to the plate. High, ball 3. Baltimore has had their way with the White Sox, and a lot of teams have in their current state. Orioles have won 23 out of the last 28 head-to-head. They've won a franchise record 10 straight here on the south side of Chicago. Move towards first, and back standing goes Meidroth.
Yeah, Bradish, it's a very similar pattern. It looked like he was in the groove. And then this inning began, and it's a lot of balls, and he's kind of spraying it all over the place.
They retired 7 in a row. The runner is going, and the pitch outside, ball 4. Consecutive walks and a lot of breaking balls. Meidroth the free pass, followed by Murakami. And now Miguel Vargas will come to the plate with 2 on and 1 down. And Drew French coming out of the dugout to make the mound visit.
You'll see how much longer they want to go with Bradish. Action is beginning in the Orioles bullpen. He's been around the 81, 83 pitch mark so far this season. With Kyle, they're going to be very careful. So I'm thinking maybe one more batter here. We'll see if he can, I don't know, maybe induce another one of those magic double play balls.
Looking for it here in the 5th, tied 2-2.
You love for him to get through 5, take a step forward, feel better about things.
That's on the ropes, and nearing the end of the line, looked like the approach on Meidroth and Murakami was a little bit more passive than the aggressiveness that he can have establishing the fastball.
Grant Wolfram, the lefty, and Big Al, Albert Suarez, the righty, warming up in the Baltimore pen. So another batter or two for Bradish.
And depending on when Wolfram started to loosen up, this might be his last assignment. Left-handed hitting Montgomery and Benintendi out on deck. Here's the pitch. Righty on righty, and it's low. Went back with the slider, and it's 1-0. To Vargas. Bounced in. 2 balls and no strikes on the number 3 hitter. Bradish has got him twice on an afternoon where he has struck out 6. First one of the afternoon. He got Vargas looking 1-2-3 first, and then got him swinging in the 3rd. The 2-0. That's hit high and deep. Out to left center field. Beaver's back on the warning track. Reaches out and makes the catch. Meidroth back at second, bluffs the tag on a ball that was certainly tagged well, beaten down by the breeze and playable for the Orioles center fielder. Full extension, sounded good, and a frustrated reaction from Miguel Vargas after he thought he powered one through the wind for a 3-run home run. Just a long, loud out, 2 down. And recording that out might have kept Bradish in this ballgame, trying to complete 5. Manager Craig Albert asks, give him a shot. They want Bradish to have a chance to win this game. Orioles would have to do their work in the 6th. The right-hander ready for his 85th pitch of the day. And it goes to the rookie Colson Montgomery, who vaults this pitch high and deep out of play up the right field line.
It will not always work, but I like it when managers give their people a chance, not just to get a win, which matters less and less in the modern game as far as from a starting pitching standpoint, although I still believe in the number in some ways, but a chance to just feel better about himself, take a step forward.
Bradish looking for his first winning decision of the season. The 0-1, bounced to the plate and swatted to the turf by Adley Rutschman.
I thought, and I was surprised yesterday, he pushed Trevor Rogers in that 6th inning, and Trevor rewarded him getting out of it, and eventually the Orioles won that ball game.
Gave him a shot to sweep here on the south side. Tied at 2 in the 5th. Bradish won 1 ball game a season ago. That was 5 against the Chicago White Sox in this ballpark. The 1-1, check swing. Montgomery takes low, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Mid-September, Bradish, fan 9, walked 4, only allowed 1 run on 4 hits in defeating the Chicago White Sox in what was certainly a very encouraging return to the major leagues off of injury. 6 starts down the stretch for the Orioles, and he looked great. The 2-1 popped him up behind home plate. This will bend back over the seats. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Colson Montgomery. Bradish has been able to fan really where you would expect the teeth of any batting order to be. He got Vargas twice, and he's fanned Colson Montgomery twice. He set him up for a 2-2. 2 on, 2 down in a game that's tied at 2. Bradish looks back at second. Defense is ready and relaxed. The 2-2 on the way. That's high. Colson Montgomery with a massive second half for Chicago. Only behind Vinny Pasquantino's 57 RBIs in the back half of the campaign with 53. There's some gaudy names on that list too. Runners go, 3-2 pitch is inside. Rutschman squeezed it for a moment, thinking that it was close enough to be strike 3. It was close, but it's the 3rd walk, and now the runner's coming down the 3rd baseline, and Meidroth dives in safely in front of the throw. Throw down to second, not in time there. The White Sox caught the Orioles napping, and Chase Meidroth getting high 5 slaps on the back as he gets the go-ahead run in. It's 3-2 Chicago. Orioles are looking at the play at the plate, seeing if they can sneak it out after ball 4 was issued. The throw went back to Bradish, who is left stunned on the bump. Meidroth went racing towards third, turned the corner, hit the accelerator, and absolutely stole the 3rd run for Chicago. As frustrating as walks are, that one absolutely pours the salt into the wound. Now 2 in scoring position. Andrew Benintendi takes down and in, ball 1.
Things you don't see every day. And it was a brilliant piece of base running. This White Sox team, they cannot overpower you, but they can do that. We've seen it from them.
The 1-0. Over for a called strike.
I don't know if any kids are listening right now. I guess school's getting out some places. But walks are live. The play continues.
1 ball and 1 strike. The pitch. Bounce to the plate. Stopped by Rutschman. Takes a quick peek down the left field line where Akami won't advance. He's the runner at third. Colson Montgomery, who walked on that daring play, is now at second base as Chase Meidroth watched the 9-5 return from Rutschman over to Bradish and then absolutely picked the pocket of the Orioles.
Wags, I just saw something interesting on the replay of that.
The 2-1 out of play off to the left.
On the return throw from Rutschman, Bradish, extremely frustrated, swatted at the ball and dropped it. And it got by him for a moment. And in that moment, Meidroth just stole the go-ahead run.
2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch, down and in. And it's 3-2.
Right now, big picture for Bradish. He's just not hitting his spots a lot. It's kind of all over the place. And this is not Kyle Bradish in that sense.
That was the overwhelming frustration out of Pittsburgh, too. And he said it bluntly to the cameras and reporters after the game. First base open, 2 down, 2 on. The pitch, swing and a miss. Benintendi finally down on strikes, but this ball game has a new look after 5, after Chase Meidroth picks the Orioles' pocket. There was
high fly ball right field deep. Canseco back to the track, looking up. It is off his head, it looked like. And over the top. A home run.
Hit Canseco in the head. Look at this. Boink. And it's out of here.
Jose, you've hit a lot of home runs, but that shot will live forever.
A hit to right field, backing up Judge, running out of room on the track, reaches up, and he made the catch.
Over the head of Beavers, walk it off. The Pirates defeat the Orioles, and they've won 4 in a row. Adell's back near the wall, he leaps, and he caught it. Joe Adell robs Raleigh of what would have been his first home run this year. Adell is back. He's at the wall. He leaps up. He got another one. Wow. Joe Adell, what a night.
That is unbelievable. Joe Adell.
Toward the corner. It's Joe Adell again near the foul pole. Leaping up. Did he catch it again? Joe Adell with his 3rd home run robbery tonight.
This might be the greatest defensive night by an outfielder ever.
And you're in. Royal Farms. Real fresh, real fast.
We move into the 6th inning. It's a 3-2 White Sox lead after Chase Mindroth used his instincts and forced the Orioles into 2 throwing errors. An error twice charged to Kyle Bradish. Puts him on the hook. It's 3-2 Chicago as we go to the 6th, and we bring back the play-by-play story from Brett Hollander.
Yeah, that is something, Wags, you don't see every day. And you can give Bradish 2 errors on that play. The day is over for White Sox starter Sean Burke. It's going to be the veteran right-hander Lucas Sims into this game as Adley Rutschman winds up and swings and misses at a sinker that's diving down on 1. Sims pitched 2 scoreless here on Monday, game 1 of this series, 3rd appearance of the year for Lucas Sims. Right now, Orioles down a run. For all that netted Chicago a single run, and they have the lead in this game in the top of the 6th. Adley hits his foul back a home plate, 0-2. 3-4-5 due up for Baltimore. Rutschman, Alonso, and O'Neill. Lucas Sims rocks and deals. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Rutschman down on strikes to begin this top of the 6th. And the 6th is brought to you by PNC. Patience is a winning strategy in baseball and banking. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. And here's the polar bear. Alonso 0 for 2 on this day. Now 1 for 22 on this road trip. Outside for a ball, 1-0. Now, Wax, I don't know if you're into such things like exit velocity and barrel rate and all of that stuff, all that fun stuff. Alonso takes a strike, 1-1, a sweeper that's over.
I will dangle my feet in the water.
Yes, just a little bit. Just put your toes in. Alonso hits this very high and foul off to the right and out of play. It's 1-2. Now, we can twist numbers any which way to make a point, and that's really important to know. But we can tell you in no uncertain terms that Alonso's made good contact over the course of this trip. Here he gets into one, and the gap in left center field, that's a base hit, and it will be deep in the gap as Peters cuts it off. Alonso digging for 2. The throw from center field is too late. A double for Pete Alonso. Well, today, if you get it up into the air, it's probably not going very far the way the wind is whipping around. That was more of a line drive double towards left center. And it almost got right past Peters, the center fielder. But Alonso turns it into a 2-bagger, and he's the tying run at second base.
And he really expanded the zone, too, on that sweeper running away from him. He was out in front and then hooked it to the gap on a pitch that was off the plate.
Well, it's good to see Pete get rewarded. My next point is, year over year, as O'Neill takes low, 1-0, for what it's worth, and again, we can twist these numbers any which way, his average exit velocity is actually up after he had a career year last year. And his hard hit percentage is up, meaning how often does he make good contact? A strike on the inside corner. My broader point is, he is Pete Alonso. Not only is he the game's top 3 best power hitters in the last 7 or 8 years, but he's been a model of consistency. Inside. That backs up O'Neill, and it's 2-1. And like most power hitters, he can be very streaky. But a nice double there, pulled by Alonso. 2-1 to O'Neill. Upstairs for a ball, 3-1. 3-2, Chicago with the lead, top of the 6th. Getaway day for both teams. Orioles looking to sweep away the White Sox, have a 3-3 road trip, and get back to 500 in the early going this season. That would be nice before a 6-game homestand. One would assume the day is over for Kyle Bradish. The pitch. Ground ball in the hole at shortstop. And Acuna fumbles it, and he has no play. Everyone's safe. Alonso stays put at second base. That was not hit sharply, but Acuna had a range far to his right to get there. He probably gets an out if he fields it cleanly. We'll see how they score it. First and second with just 1 out for Baltimore. And it's a base hit for O'Neill.
Acuna got there with the glove, but he pressed it so hard on the ground, it wrenched the leather. So he couldn't even corral it in the web.
Just the 3rd hit for Baltimore. But they do have a threat. Alonso at second, O'Neill on at first, and Mountcastle, who's 0 for 2, will bat. Although Mountcastle had the hardest hit of the day. It was a lineup to left field. And he takes a pitch inside 1-0, but he hit that 106 off the bat. Mountcastle making his 3rd start of the season. Not great speed on the bags for the Orioles right now. And Mountcastle looks at one down and away for a ball. It's 2-0 to Ryan Mountcastle. The pitch. Down and away again. 3-0 to Mountcastle. A sweeper that missed. Big Al's still warming up in the Baltimore pen. And there's a second right-hander out there. It looks like Wolfram has sat down. We'll see where Craig Albernez wants to go in the bottom half of this 6th. 3-0 to Mountcastle. Lucas Sims comes home. And it's ball 4. They're loaded. Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID on the Orioles Radio Network. Brett Hollander, Ben Wagner, and Rick Betancourt with you at Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. Ryan Leschko back at home base. Will Venable is coming out to take the baseball away from Lucas Sims, his right-hander, in a jam. We'll have a pitching change. He's going to call in the left-hander to face Dylan Beavers here.
Dave Holtz now stands in. He gets fisted toward the Angel dugout. Got folks moving. Again, slapped that way. Same spot. Uh-oh. Gray with the 0-2 pitch. Same spot almost. Still 0-2.
Jack Leiter making his season debut.
He's 148 K, second among all AL rookies.
Jack's 2-2. And a swing and a miss. There's his first strikeout of the season. He gets Mayo for the second out of the inning. To be the way to pitch. Here's the 3-2. And that's right in there. Alonso just frozen.
Sinking fastball from Leiter. He retires the side in order for the first time tonight.
Big over-the-top windup and the 1-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging with a cutter at 94. Nice assortment of pitches there from Jack Leiter. And that new pitch, the cutter, strikes out Adley Rutschman. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Great screwball action, a changeup at 92. So Leiter making use of a couple of pitches he didn't even have 2 years ago when he made his major league debut.
It's 2-2 and a swing and a miss. Got him chasing a curveball, and Leiter, I don't know that he loved where that one ended up, but he got the job done.
Hyundai. And these days, that's priceless.
Now, get the Hyundai Tucson for 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days. Visit your local Hyundai dealer. Offers end April 30th. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
The lefty Brian Hudson into this game. He'll deal with Dylan Beavers. Bases loaded, 1 out. Orioles down a run in the top of the 6th. And the pitch to Beavers. Outside ball 1, 1-0. Beavers getting a left-on-left opportunity here. The Orioles do have Jeremiah Jackson on their bench, but they're opting to stay with Beavers, who's 0 for 1. He walked once today. The pitch. There's a strike at the knees, outer half. 1 ball and 1 strike to Beavers. Alonso is at third. O'Neill is at second. And Mountcastle, the trail runner, at first. They are in at the corners for the White Sox infield defense. The 1-1. Beavers takes a strike 2. 1-2 to Beavers. On deck, you have Kobe Mayo, Brian Hudson, a 28-year-old left-hander from Godfrey, Illinois. He has pitched in parts of 4 big league seasons. The 1-2 way outside with a sweeper that wasn't close. McGuire had to reach for it deep in the right-handed batter's box, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Down to 16 games last year between Milwaukee and Chicago. Outside, it scoots past the catcher, McGuire. Coming in from third is Alonso, and he'll make it with a slide. And we're tied at 3. McGuire with a pass ball that allows Alonso to come home and tie this game. That just went right through the glove of Reese McGuire. Wow, you never see that in the big leagues. And Alonso with heads-up base running. Now the White Sox infield is in, and it's 3-2 to the batter. The pitch to Beavers. He hits this high in the air to right field. O'Neill back to tag at third. The right fielder Harris is under it. He makes the catch. His throw will go to second base. O'Neill will score, and the Orioles grab the lead in the 6th. 4-3 Baltimore. And what has been a bizarre sequence here today on the south side. So Alonso scores on the pass ball. O'Neill scores on the sac fly off the bat of Beavers. Good job by Dylan left on left. His 5th RBI. And now Mountcastle's at third and a breaking ball strike 1 to Kobe Mayo. The pass ball allowed Alonso to score, and then it set up the second run of the inning because both of the runners on the backside advanced. The pitch. Mayo takes a strike 2, 0-2. And Kobe's going to challenge. He better be right here.
Previous pitch was called a strike. The batter's challenging.
Only the 6th inning. The Orioles will be out of challenges if he's wrong.
The call is confirmed. The pitch is a strike. Baltimore is out of challenges.
Wow. It is a big moment. There's a runner at third. It clipped the bottom of the strike zone. Mountcastle at third base. Now 2 away. Left on right. And the pitch. Inside for a ball 1-2. Kobe 0 for 2. Really scuffling to begin this season. Infield backed up with 2 outs. Mayo hits this high in the air. This could be an adventure. Harris racing in. He's under it, and he makes the catch in short right field. And that retires the Orioles in the 6th. But they tie the game, and then they...
Base hit right field, but they're going to have to hold Jelks at third. Going now, the ball gets away from O'Neill. He kicks it to Benzinger.
No, I do not believe it.
He kicked the ball to Todd Benzinger. You will never, ever again see this, so take a look.
And it is a perfect
perfect kick. This is the all-timer.
The newfangled idea of the time was night games, and teams thought that the shiny material of satin would reflect the stadium lights better. But satin comes with all kinds of issues. Despite all its drawbacks, this shiny material really does create a show-stopping jersey.
What is something that you snack on that you don't worry about?
I love Uncrustables. I could eat like 10 of them in one sitting.
And no regard for his body? I don't even wait till I thaw out.
Hey, put them in a toaster next time. Just toast it, yep. It'll change your life.
Yeah, just an incredible play by Riley Green.
You are an all-star on the field and off, bro.
I appreciate it.
Hey,
thank you.
Riley Green, bro, food genius.
HBCU night is coming to Baltimore. Join the O's on Friday, April the 24th. Red Sox will be in town during HBCU and Divine Nine night. Grab the special ticket packages, score a limited edition bucket hat as well. Groups of 15 or more, you save when you get your tickets as a group. Go to Orioles.com/ticket packages.
That's Ben. I'm Brett. Baseball on the radio from Chicago, Illinois. Kyle Bradish, his day over, 5 innings, 6 hits. He gives up a couple of runs, and he also made 2 errors on one play, which you don't often see when you're a pitcher. And allowed for a run to score. And this pitch from Tyler Wells, a fastball at 93 high. And it's 1-0 to the batter, Dustin Harris. We have seen a peculiar game. Orioles ahead, though, 4-3 in the bottom of the 6th. Wells pitched 2 scoreless here on Monday. This one inside. 2-0 to Harris. Back-to-back 2-inning outings for Tyler Wells, both scoreless. Great to see from Tyler, who allowed a run in each of his first 3 appearances this year. That seems to be a distant memory now. A strike poured in, and it's 2-1. Yeah, last 4 innings for Wells, just 1 base hit, 1 walk, and 4 punchouts. Well, you don't see the play that Meidroth made, scoring from third on what was essentially a routine throwback from the catcher to the pitcher. And you rarely see a major league catcher have a pass ball with a runner at third. This pitch just missed off the plate, a very close pitch with a changeup, 3-1. The Orioles are out of challenges. So even if they thought that was a strike, and I'm looking at the replay, it may have, in fact, clipped the corner. They have nowhere to go. The 3-1. This pitch inside, a check swing. They appeal to third, no swing, and a leadoff walk. Harris is aboard right after the Orioles got the lead back. It's not just that it was a pass ball and there was a runner at third. Actually, significant, the bases were loaded because it allowed a second run to score on a sac fly. But it was the routine nature of the pass ball for a major league catcher who's been around like Reese McGuire.
And it wasn't one of those things that had become the pandemic of baseball where
Acuna batting, and he looks at a slider called a strike. Looked a little low, but called a strike. 0-1 to Acuna, who's batting. Mayo way in at third. Mountcastle holding the bag at first, with Harris leading. 4-3 Baltimore in the bottom of the 6th. Low for a ball, 1-1.
if there is a situation like we saw with Reese McGuire, a lot of times you see it because catchers are trying to whip a ball back into the zone. This wasn't the case with Reese. He just flat out missed it.
Wells going to be a real leverage reliever for the Orioles this year, as Acuna skies this foul out of play off to the right. 1-2.
With his repertoire and the ability to neutralize right-handed and left-handed hitters, not only is it identified pockets and leverage, but multiple innings that they could deploy him.
Toss over to first. Close play. But back with the dive is Harris. Bradish, by the way, as I was saying about his final line, 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, only 2 were earned because of that double error. There goes the runner from first. The pitch is low. Throw to second base. Safe is the call. Harris stole the bag. They appeal to first base, and the umpire there, Lance Barrett, the crew chief, they were talking about a check swing, and now Craig Alvarez wants a review. Lance Barrett said no swing on the check. It was very close. And it was also close at second base on the throw by Rutschman. So I imagine this review is about the caught stealing attempt.
Baltimore is challenging a safe call at second base.
I mean, this is not one you'd waste unless you were really certain. It was a great throw by Rutschman, a great tag applied on a skip throw by Blaze Alexander, the second baseman. Very close to being a strike him out, throw him out double play. Right now, the Orioles will take just the one here and clear the bases. I don't see an angle yet, although Blaze Alexander came up from his backside after applying the tag and said, yeah, let's review this.
Down on one knee, taking it just in front of his right shoulder, whipping the tag back onto the leg, the top leg. Trying to get the tag down on a bang.
Yo, he's out. I'm looking at the third base camera angle, and he is out. If our friends in New York see the same one. Can't tell from the center field one. Can't tell from any other camera angle, but the one from the third base, essentially the White Sox dugout, says Alexander tagged him before that foot got on the bag. Rutschman is off to a great start throwing, hoping this is out one and the base is clear.
That's the angle they have not shown in the ballpark.
Interesting. By the way, the final line for the third try on Bradish. 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, 96 pitches, a season-high 54 strikes as Tyler Wells will throw some warm-up pitches here. The count is 2-2 to the batter Acuna. We're about to get an answer on what is a very long review in New York.
After review, the call on the field stands. The runner is safe. Baltimore loses their challenge.
That's wrong. Give Harris a stolen base. So not only do the Orioles not get the strike 3 on the check swing appeal, but Harris steals the bag. He's in scoring position as a tying run. Runner at second, nobody out. 2-2 to Acuna. Wells checks on Harris again. And he fights one off and fouls it below us to our right. You got to keep an eye on this White Sox team at all times on the bases. Again, not a team that's going to hit a lot of home runs. Towards the bottom of the league right now in runs scored. But they will bunt, they will steal bases, they will play go-go baseball. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck out Acuna, 1 away in the bottom of the 6th. Wells gets a big punch out. And now Reese McGuire will bat. Former first-round pick, a left-handed batter, a veteran catcher. And this is a cue shot foul towards the Chicago dugout. As you can hear, the wind is still whipping around right field. By the way, my meteorologist friends tell me we're in for a perfect, almost mundane spring-like weekend ahead in Baltimore, Maryland. The 0-1, inside. No, they say hit Reese McGuire, and he will reach on a hit-by pitch. Wells can't believe it. Maybe with a gust of wind on the uniform that perhaps is a little baggy, this one got the uniform. I'm looking at it. It didn't. I don't think it made contact with the uniform at all. They're calling it a hit by pitch. He's saying it got him in his back elbow.
Goodness.
Unless I'm missing something here, they're really under the corners now. And it's a strike one to Tristan Peters, who can really run. Orioles defense has to be ready for anything right now. You have Harris at second, McGuire at first. Unless it, maybe I missed it, hit him on the arm guard. I was looking at the jersey, but I'm not sure. The pitch, low for a ball, 1-1. Yeah, it should be in the low 70s, upper 60s over the weekend. No wind. Maybe touching 80 early next week during the Diamondback series. We'll sign up for that. And no wind. No wind, Ben Wagner. The 1-1. Down and in for a ball, 2-1.
So don't bring a fan. Got it.
No fan. Maybe just a light jacket for the night games.
I'm ready for it. Ready for it.
16 pitches for Wells already. First and second with just one out. The pitch. A pop-up left side in foul territory. Mayo gives it a look, but it's back in the seats. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Harris at second base. McGuire at first. 1 out. Peters the batter. And then the top of the order for the White Sox. Tyler Wells high on the mound. His 2-2. Poked off to the left side in foul territory. Mayo on the run. He backhands it against the netting, and it's called a no catch. The third base umpire, Mike Estabrook, was there. Mayo was on a dead run. He reached out with his backhand, and it must have hit off the netting.
Thinking about the tarp barreling in on him, he had that low retaining wall, which is solid concrete, plus the net. A lot going on in a short couple of steps.
He did catch it. Here's the 2-2. A slow roller foul. First base side. I guess they said he trapped it.
I think it went off the end of his glove. He got leather on it, but he did not catch it.
He did not catch it clean. Sean Newcomb, the left-hander, throwing in the White Sox pen. Time is now called by Peters, a left-handed batter. Nothing coming easy right now for either of these clubs. Another strange game for the Orioles on this road trip. They've had a few. Wells sets well above the belt. The 2-2 to Peters. In the air, shallow center. It freezes Beavers. Now he's racing in towards the gap in left center. He makes the catch. Out number 2. Two down, runners hold, first and second. And the batter will be Chase Mydroth, who scored the last run for the White Sox. Wolfram and Suarez continue to throw in the Baltimore pen. Off day tomorrow for the Orioles, so other than Helsley, who's earned the save in back-to-back nights, I would say everyone can pitch today out of the Baltimore pen. Right on right, infield backed up with 2 outs. And a strike on the outside corner, a slider, and it's 0-1.
When it hasn't been Ryan Helsley, the other guy that's got to save is Albert Suarez, but that was because of 3 innings.
And a depleted bullpen.
Correct. Big question on who would get the 9th in a tight game.
My money's on Rico Garcia.
Me too.
He has earned that opportunity.
Like all the money into the middle of the table.
The 0-1. In the inner center field, it backs up Beavers. Beavers still going back on the track. He makes the catch. Side retired. Mydroth gave it a ride.
What is something that you snack on that you don't worry about?
I love Uncrustables. I could eat like 10 of them in one sitting.
And no regard for his body.
I don't even wait till I thaw out.
Hey, put them in a toaster next time. Just toast it, yep. It'll change your life.
Yeah, just an incredible play by Riley Green.
You are an all-star on the field and off, bro.
I appreciate it.
Hey,
Thank you.
Riley Green, bro, food genius.
Crack to deep center field. Varsho going back as far as he can go. And Legaliers has a grand slam. 6-2 A's. Shea's third home run of the series is a grand slam. And they have blown this game wide open.
And in grand fashion.
Now in the 7th, Orioles have a 4-3 lead. The 7th inning is brought to you by the Maryland Mortgage Program, 7 steps to home ownership. Start your journey at mmp.maryland.gov. Left-hander Sean Newcomb into this game. Third reliever for the White Sox. Back as starter Sean Burke. Newcomb got 4 outs yesterday. 9-1-2 due up for Baltimore. Cracked to third base off the bat of Blaze Alexander, on to first by Colson Montgomery. And on one pitch, Alexander's retired. That was it very sharply. 6 outing for Newcomb. ERA just under 5 runs per game. Veteran left-hander who's had an interesting career. A few turns from starter to reliever, some injuries. Pitches outside. No, clipped the outside corner for a strike. 0-1 to Gunnar Henderson. Newcomb was the first reliever out of the gate yesterday for Will Venable. This one is outside, 1-1. He relieved Shane Smith, who only went 3 2/3. Newcomb gave up a run on 2 hits, plus a walk yesterday through 26 pitches. Breaking ball down and away. 2-1 to Henderson. 1 out, top of the 7th. Orioles would love to get some insurance here. High for a ball. 3-1. Henderson 0 for 2 today with a walk and a run scored. He rolls his foul very slowly towards the Chicago dugout. It remains 3-2. Gunnar Henderson with a massive road trip. 6th and final game of the trip. Henderson already with 7 hits, and 3 have left the ballpark. Here, he can't get to a 4-seam fastball. He strikes out. That's out number 2 in the top of the 7th, and Taylor Ward will bat. Ward continues his hot hitting today. 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI. It's hard to believe he started 0 for 7 this season, because since then, he's among the best hitters in baseball. A ball 1 to Taylor Ward, 1-0. Hitting about 400 now, over 400 in his last 10 games, including today. There's a strike, 1-1. Well over 400 with 6 walks and 7 doubles. The pitch. Ward loops this into left field. That's another hit for Taylor Ward. Picked up in the corner by Benintendi, and Ward's digging for 2. He slowed down. The throw comes in. It's offline, and Taylor Ward has his 2nd double of the game. I think he thought he could put it in cruise control, and then he realized he had to speed up. But he has a 3-hit game with 2 doubles. Wow. And that's a big run out there. Here's Rutschman. He's going to bat right-handed against Sean Newcomb. 4-3 Baltimore, top of the 7th. The pitch. Adley takes one inside, and there will be a challenge, I believe, by McGuire.
Previous pitch was called the ball. The catcher's challenging.
It's a strike. McGuire's right.
Calls overturn. The pitch is a strike. Chicago retains its challenge.
Adley has reached base every game he's played so far this year, so that hangs in the balance here in the top of the 7th. He's 0 for 3 with an RBI groundout. Adley takes one well high, 1-1. The pitch. Rutschman slaps it as foul. Out of play off to the right. And it's 1-2 to Adley Rutschman. Ward at second base. Pete Alonso, who started a rally in the 6th, is on deck. The pitch. Adley takes a called strike 3. Not sure if Adley agreed with that call.
In a big-time spot here in the 8th. It's the 2-2 pitch. Yelich, a high drive, deep right, down the line, fair, and gone! Yelich delivers in the clutch. And he left nothing in the tank.
My God, how far did that go? A bomb.
421 feet away.
My goodness.
Christian Yelich, a 3-run blast.
Run down by Quan, makes the catch.
Could be a double play. Throw to first. There it is.
And there's a nice play, Connor Griffin. What a play. Acuna with a good jump, and he will get there. Oh, they got him. Oh, Luis Matos, welcome to the crew.
What a play by Nathan Lucas.
He went into Superman formation.
What a throw by Jared Young. He played that ball beautifully.
Out is the call at second base.
Double play! How about that?
Good stop by Okamoto, and the throw is in time. What a play down at third.
At the wall, he jumps and he's got it! Crashes into the wall.
Takes a hit away. Going back at the track and a leaping catch. What a snap by the backstop.
Spinning, turning, what a play! Tanner Murray in his big league debut.
That's my security right there. That's the bad one, Roscoe Pico train.
Major League Baseball wanted to start doing something with the players and their dogs.
Which one's the dog?
I was undecided on whether to do a dog card or not, but my wife pushed me in the back and she wanted the famous dog, so she told me to do it.
The Truist Club is the newest private, all-inclusive experience to host clients, reward teams, and stand out in a crowded market. No planning, no logistics, no stress, just show up. Prime home plate views, the atmosphere of the most iconic ballpark in America with a premium game day environment. Learn more at Orioles.com/Truist Club.
Thank you, Ben. Grant Wolfram enters this game against Murakami. Bottom of the 7th, Baltimore up a run, first ball. Hit right over our heads, 0-1. Wolfram making his 5th appearance, 4.5 ERA. 2 of the next 3 scheduled hitters are left-handed. Perfect pocket for Wolfram. The 0-1. A strike 2, right on the outside corner with a slider. 0-2 to the powerful Munetaka Murakami, who once won the Triple Crown in Japan. Skips down and away. I think I came up and grabbed Rutschman a little bit. 1-2. One of the great sluggers in the history of Japanese baseball. And I mean all the great sluggers. He's one of the all-time best. Orioles up a run in the bottom of the 7th. 9 outs away from a sweep here in Chicago. This one is high for a ball, 2-2. Grant Wolfram, the tall left-hander from Michigan, sets with the bases empty. The 2-2, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Blew him away with a two-seamer upstairs. A punch out for Wolfram, and that's how the bottom of the 7th begins. And now Miguel Vargas, who has some pop will bat with 1 out and the bases empty. By the way, Wags, you know what the biggest story is locally right now? Here in Chicago?
A shortage on Vienna beef.
One would think. And that's because of the damage we did at a deep dish and beef place last night. A little roller and a check swing towards second base, and that's going to be a perfectly placed swinging bunt off the bat of Miguel Vargas, the tying run at first. He rolled that right past the pitcher Wolfram slowly to second base. Blaze Alexander had no chance, and now Vargas is at first in front of Colson Montgomery. So a fortuitous check swing there for Vargas and the White Sox. Biggest local story is the future of the Chicago Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Where are they going? Foul ball back behind home plate, 0-1. It seems like their future at Soldier Field is over, at least based on the local television reports I've seen. Some hope they stay in the state of Illinois, going to Arlington Heights by O'Hare Airport. But there's a reasonable chance they're heading out of the state of Illinois. The pitch, and that plunked Colson Montgomery. A slider that got away from Wolfram, and it got Colson Montgomery. And after a quick strikeout, an infield hit, then a hit by pitch, and the tying runs in scoring position.
This is life with a left-handed specialist, isn't it? Lefty on lefty. Slider slips out of the hand and then tags a left-handed hitter.
And with a scheduled left-handed batter due up in left-handy, Will Venable is going to go to his bench for a right-handed pinch hitter. It's going to be Derek Hill.
Yeah, it changes the complexion, right? You get two guys on, and you think about tying run and scoring position. Only the runner at first. You might have Benintendi try to use handedness to stay in the ball game defensively and what he can do against Wolfram.
Left on right now. Hill bunts it. He pushes it, and it's a foul ball picked up in foul territory by Adley. Willie Traynor, the home plate umpire, immediately says that's a foul ball. He tried to push it towards first base. With 1 out, you have to be bunting for a hit there, not a pure sacrifice, unless this is old National League Baseball and the pitcher's up. You can't give up a pure out here for a sacrifice and make it second and third with 2 down, giving one batter 1 chance to tie this game or give Chicago the lead. So that's bunting for a hit, but something the White Sox do with a lot of regularity. But in this case, it's 0-1 to Hill after he bunts it foul. The pitch by Wolfram. A shot towards third short on the ground. To second for 1. Relay on to first, and it is in time. Make that 2. A double play. 6-4-3, and the Wolfman pitches out of it. Just what the doctor ordered for Wolfram and the Orioles. And we're 7 complete here on the south side.
Games. Here's the 0-2 and a ground ball left side. Diving stop. Griffin flips to second 1. They will not get Laureano, but Connor Griffin just robbed him of a hit.
And drills a ball to right center field for the second time in as many days as hit it out. Cranks another. He's got a second bomb. Who is this guy?
Swing and a miss. 10 strikeouts and 8 brilliant innings from Jose Soriano.
Cleveland, please join us in congratulating the new franchise leader in games played, Jose Ramirez.
Now the pitch on the way, swung on, hit high in the air to right field, deep. Wood going back onto the warning track toward the corner. He lunges. He made the catch. He made the catch, and he holds on.
Bryce Matthews, who struck out looking his first time up. Matthews getting the start in left field tonight. Matthews hits it in the air pretty well to center. Going back on it is Rafaela at the wall, looking up. See you later! Bryce Matthews with his first long ball of the year, right by the Phillips 66 home run pump, and the Astros lead 4-0. That went 434 feet just to the left of straightaway center, and it was 111 miles an hour off Matthews' bat.
I believe this one's it's a rookie card, I know, but I feel like it's.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of the Baltimore Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles. 4-3 Orioles now in the 8th inning, and in for the play-by-play. Here's Ben Wagner.
Thank you very much, Brett Hollander. Birds by a run. Now we'll have to work against another flamethrower out of this White Sox bullpen, and Jordan Hicks, who takes over for the second time in this series. It'll be power on power. Hicks versus Alonso. Pete leading off the 8th inning. The pitch to Pete, wrapped on the ground sharply out to shortstop. Two-handed pickup. Now a shuffle step by Acuna on to first in time. And Alonso is retired on one pitch. Jordan Hicks is now 29 years old. He burst onto the scene with St. Louis, spent 5 years with the Cardinals. Now is with his 4th team in 4 years. He's been in San Fran, in Toronto, with Boston, and now with the White Sox. Setup man here in the 8th. Tyler O'Neill to the plate. O'Neill's been hit by a pitch, singled, worked around the bases, and immediately went to third on a pass ball. They got a run in for the Orioles, then he tagged and scored. He's the difference today, tapping the plate. 4-3 Baltimore. Takes high, ball one. Hicks rattles the glove, now separates, and a slider cut on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. As Chris Getz, the new general manager of the Chicago White Sox, hits the reset button on the entire franchise, he wanted some veterans in the bullpen. And Jordan Hicks has the most service time of any member of the pitching staff. Pitch in for a called strike, and it's 1-2. He is experienced. He has worked in leverage, and the 1-2 straightens up O'Neill. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And between him and Sir Anthony Dominguez, who they paid to be their closer, they want them at the back end to secure ball games that the White Sox should win. 2-2 into the shade, missed inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Shade is just starting to creep past home plate, completely encompassing the catcher, umpire, and now both batters' boxes. Hicks in the 3-2, inside, ball 4. A 1-out walk. Orioles have some insurance aboard here in the 8th. The Birds would love to tack on. Looking ahead in the home half, Dustin Harris, Luis Angel Acuna, and then Reese McGuire. 6, 7, and 8 scheduled to come up. It is a bullpen game. Kyle Bradish had the start. Sean Burke on the other side. The pitch. Sweeper in for a called strike. Oh, and 1 on Ryan Mountcastle, who got a board on a fielder's choice and then worked a walk in the 6th. 0-1. Inside with fastball missing. 1 ball and 1 strike on Mounting. Had a couple of days of preparation after being told by his manager, get ready. Pete's going to get a day off here in Chicago. Extra reps at first base. The 1-1. Driven out of play off to the right. Mountcastle in the hole, 1-2. And that's not to alert anybody in a sense of urgency. It's just to make sure that the reps certainly count. And if you need more, they're accustomed to how during batting practice, maybe when you're taking fungos or your footwork drills with the little machine on the apron before the ball game with Miguel Cairo, 1-2, swinging a foul back. And plus then there's the mental preparation that goes along with it too. More than ever, communication is the #1 talking point between front offices down to the coaching staff, then to the players. A ripple effect. And the management that Craig Albarnez has kind of deployed with his catchers, the first base routine, the shortstop routine that we talked about here in Chicago, all by design. 1-2 coming. Fastball high. 2 balls and 2 strikes with Mountcastle working on Hicks here in the 8th. A runner at first and 1 out. Birds have a 4-3 lead in the 8th inning. A win today would secure a sweep, make a happy return to Charm City, and put the record at 500. 2-2. Swinging a ground ball out to second, ranging to his left. Mydrop dives, goes to second with a throw for 1. On to first, not in time. Mydrop popping up, making the throw to second base. Acuna blazing over the bag. Got a good throw away at first base. It was close. White Sox say play on. And then Will Venable, after checking on the video replay center, pops off the top step. He wants to make a pitching change. Mountcastle safe for the second time today on a fielder's choice. There's 2 down, but the required 3 batters have been faced. There's a call to the bullpen. This call to the bullpen is being brought to you by the auto loan experts at Point Breeze Credit Union, selling 90 years in your neighborhood. Pitching change on the south side of Chicago.
I went to college at Northeastern University, and all my friends were Red Sox fans. And while in my 3 years there, I really grew to appreciate Red Sox Nation and everything that they bring to the table. And once I got my head wrapped around the trade, I was really, really excited. I think they have one of the most iconic logos, these 2 Sox right here on the sleeve. I love keeping it simple, really fond of the font, and I think it's a really cool look.
And if you want a Cy Young, 73, 5, and 6, I've got an extra 5. And then it says, has worked as a TV commentator. You know, and I did start back in 1978. I did the Yankees and the Red Sox playing the 1-game playoff. And ABC said if the Yankees win, Reggie will play, and then you'll go broadcast with Howard Cosell and Keith Jackson. And that's how I started my broadcast. And that's the Bucky Dent home run. So every time I see Bucky Dent, I go, thank you for making me a broadcaster.
We play in Toronto. Guerrero sends over some good stuff for the guys, so when we play in Toronto, I definitely dive into that.
You gotta be careful with Vladdy, bro, because a Dominican breakfast will put you to sleep, bro. ¿Cómo está sonando la comida dominicana ya?
La comida dominicana ya no sé cómo está sonando, porque obviamente mi esposa me cocina. O sea, hay restaurantes, pero no voy a comer comida latina.
Top of the 8th inning, the Orioles have 2 down and a runner at first base. Dylan Beavers will bat against the new left-hander making his major league debut, Tyler Schweitzer. Came up from AAA Charlotte today with a sub-2 ERA. The pitch from the lefty, misses down and away, is ball 1. Schweitzer, after 7 seasons in the minors, finally got the call last night. 25 years of age, from Indianapolis, Indiana. Inherits the runner at first. The 1-0 pitch to Beavers. That missed outside. He's behind 2 balls and no strikes. Pitched collegiately at Ball State in Muncie. Now in the big leagues. The 2-0 fouled back over our noggins. 2 balls and 1 strike on Beavers. Dylan today walked his first time up, bounced out to short, and then got the go-ahead run in. 4-3 Orioles here in the 6th after his sacrifice fly. He had his first walk of the season. He got his 5th RBI today. Left-hand hitter, and the 2-1 missed down and away. Good fastball, 94 miles an hour, but Schweitzer with his heart pounding in his ice-white uniform, yanking a couple of pitches, missing with the breaking balls down and away, and now really yanking that fastball. Driver's seat for Beavers, 3-1. Outside, ball 4. And now the White Sox will challenge again.
Previous pitch was called the ball. The catcher is challenging.
Reese McGuire challenging. And he just got his pitcher a strike.
Call's overturned. The pitch is a strike. Chicago retains its challenge.
And the at-bat will continue after the ABS was deployed. Automatic balls and strikes. And the White Sox have had a good day on their tap of the cap.
Let's go, Tyler.
They've got both of their challenges. Runner back at first, runner back at the plate. And with 2 down, Mountcastle goes 3-2 pitch. That's down and away. So it took an extra pitch, but finally the base on ball. And now 2 are on, and Kobe Mayo will come to the plate. An opposing right-handed batter.
Yeah, Kobe's got to make someone pay at some point. He had such a good spring, but it has been a tough go offensively up here. By the way, 2 really good left-on-left plate appearances by Beavers. 1 netted, 1 on a sac fly, the other a walk. And he's walked twice today after not walking in the first 11 games of the season.
Schweitzer to Mayo. Jackknife out of the way. Jack the heater down and in. Mayo's 0 for 3 at the plate. He struck out and been retired through the air twice. Runners with big leads at first and second. 2 down in the inning. Schweitzer deals. Swing and a miss. Now he was thinking about the fastball. He got the slider, and a vicious cut went over the top. 1 ball and 1 strike on Mayo. Now 1 for 9 here on the south side. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Another slider snapped off by the lefty, who certainly has that slider working to his advantage against the opposite hand. Missing down and away against lefty-lefty matchups, but boring down and in and inviting enough for Mayo to chase it. Schweitzer in front 1-2, and now Mayo asks for time. He steps away through the shadows, backpedaling just at the cut of the ring around home plate. Tugs on the Velcro on his right batting glove. Now sinks back in the clay. Mountcastle and Beavers aboard. Mayo stares out. Schweitzer to the plate, and it's fouled away. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the number 8 batter, with Blaze Alexander standing out on deck. No baseball for the Birds tomorrow. They are off, and they will bring in the San Francisco Giants. Later start times on Friday and Saturday. 7:15 first pitches in games 1 and game 2 of that series. And then back to your regular programming with both Masson and on our great radio network coming up on Sunday afternoon, beginning 1 day after 5. Mayo fouled that ball off his end step. He asked for time, favoring the left, raising it up and down a couple of times, trying to rinse away some of the pain. Outfield lined up straight away, infield back. Mydra just starts on the cut of the outfield grass and then steps forward as the pitcher gets ready. 1-2 coming. Mayo popped it up on the diamond, retreating back from second. Mydroth underneath it, fighting the breeze. In from center, Peters is there to make the play and retire the side. The Orioles get a couple of walks, can't do anything with it. Middle of the 8th.
Sidearm delivery and a comebacker. There's the good athleticism. He throws the glove to first for the out. The ball was stuck in his glove. What an intelligent play by El Duque.
That reminds me of Terry Mulholland 12 years ago against the New York Mets.
And it's a good reminder for all you youngsters out there. If you're going to catch a glove with a ball wedged into it, use 2 hands like Tino Martinez did.
Well, we had a special guest on the field before the game today, Pepe the Penguin.
Pepe was a little cranky today.
If you're at the ballpark with your kid, what's most important? You got to get snacks for Junior. This is a rare father-son first base coaching combo.
Well, after Dinger put up a sign that said, "Mrs. Met, call me," Mrs. Met has her response.
That hit my bat. That was a foul ball I want to hit. He was trying to stay in the hit. See, look, he said foul ball, foul ball. He didn't want to go down to first base. He wanted to hit.
And you're just too stylish to have superstitions.
Zero. I can't do it. Too many colored cleats, too many gloves, too many wedding gloves, too many bats.
I do put on my right glove first, then the left, then the thumb guard, then I put on my leg guard, my elbow guard.
Anything you put on first?
Nah, not really.
Nothing?
Nah. I like to say I'm not superstitious, but a little stitious.
Bottom 8 at the ballpark on the south side of Chicago with the L rumbling off in the distance, catching a little glimpse of those gray cars sliding by. Right field, just out between some of the signage in left center field. We've got a 4-3 ball game. Orioles on top. Anthony Nunez out of the bullpen will take over the pitching for the Orioles against Dustin Harris, Luis Angel Acuna, and then Reese McGuire scheduled to come up. And the Orioles have made a couple of defensive changes we'll tell you about as Nunez gets ready to work here in this one-run game. The pitch on the outside corner, called strike one. Laid his four-seam fastball at 95 miles an hour. And we have seen a growth in opportunity for Anthony Nunez. Former position player turned pitcher, now a big leaguer on the hill. Up backliner, deep at shortstop, flagged in the outfield, grasped by Henderson. Strong throw across, in time to get the out. What a play by Gunnar Henderson. Shaded off near the middle of the diamond, ranging to his right, fielding that ball in the soft bounce, momentum carrying him into shallow left field, plants and then rifles it across the diamond to get a speedy runner in Dustin Harris. One down after a great defensive play.
He's made all the plays in this series. 2 games he's been at shortstop. When he's had to charge, he has. When he's had to backhand, he has. When he's ranged in every direction, and a strong, accurate arm.
Here's Acuna trying to bunt his way aboard. A lollipop drop, and it trickles its way foul. What a read by Blaze Alexander, who just moved over to play at third base after starting at second. Jeremy Jackson is into play at second base. In the outfield, Leody Taveras has replaced Dylan Beavers in center. That's a straight change for the Orioles. But Acuna had a little lollipop bunt attempt about a third of the way up the third baseline. It checked up. Alexander went swooping in, but then thought better of it as that ball twisted its way foul. Strike one on the hitter. One out here in the 8th. The 0-1. A bounding ball towards Alexander from the infield grass on to first. 2 down. A one-hop chopper landing right in the lap of Blaze Alexander. 2 up, 2 set assigned by Anthony Nunez. You talk about a feel-good story. Anthony Nunez is every bit of that. He was an early cut. Sit out of camp to the minor leagues, and then all of a sudden rushed to the big leagues, made the opening day roster. It's the left-handed hitting veteran backstop, Reese McGuire. Misses high with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball for ball 1. Yesterday, he had a 1-batter assignment. He fanned Edgar Caro, and then that wrapped up the game, the 1-0. Downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. First time we've seen Nunez working back-to-back. The 2-0. On the outside corner, called strike. It's 2-1. So Nunez part of the setup assignment for the Orioles yesterday, and likely today for Ricardo. The 2-1. That's low. Nunez behind 3 balls and 1 strike. Garcia likely to get the save assignment if it stays 4-3. Orioles still have to bat in the 9th. 3-1. Fouled back. Count moves to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Reese McGuire today has been hit by a pitch and singled. He's also struck out. That was the last of the 6 batters that were fanned by the starter Kyle Bradish. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes McGuire, and a 1-2-3 8th inning turned in by Anthony Nunez. Off to the 9th we go. Orioles 4 and White Sox 3 on.
All right, Ryan, PSA dove in. Do we have them graded?
We do. This is the first set of graded cards from the 2024 Topps MLB Network set.
I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
Now, they all have the same grade, or?
No.
So one of us will be like the highest graded card.
Could be. There could be multiple. So first up, we got Mark DeRosa.
Of course, D-Rose a 10 out of 10. Handsome, athletic. All right.
Clark
Clark.
What a play by Terang.
He is on display today. How much fun is he to watch every single day?
What a huge play from Brady House at the hot corner.
Robbing it about as casually as you can imagine, Mike Yastrzemski.
Behind the back flip by Ernie Clement. Everybody's going to be smiling about this one.
Back to the track, to the wall, and makes a leaping catch.
Here comes Young.
What a catch by Young.
How about Roquio went to a knee and almost like mid-flight flicked it over to first base.
On the run, he gets there. On the ground covered by Cedric Mullins there.
Young reels it in. That's a pretty play. As if you already didn't know that Baldwin was doing everything today.
Candelario makes a great catch. Yes, they did it on both sides. Paredes, Walker, a great play on the corners.
It starts to sink abruptly, dives forward and makes the catch.
MLB Plus is new for 2026. Stream MLB Network 24/7 and select out-of-market games every week, plus live radio broadcast of every game, Game Day 3D, Big Inning, and minor league action. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today.
What a moment that we're going to have in this ninth inning, Brett Hollander. Rico Garcia has started to loosen up in the bullpen after his first save opportunity. If it stays like this, 4-3 Baltimore. White Sox stick with their lefty against Blaze Alexander, who chops the first pitch foul for strike one. The Orioles played it a pair in the third, two more added in a wild fifth to sixth inning. Some unconventional runs came across in this ballgame, including a double dribble by Kyle Bradish on a return throw after ball four, where Chase Meindroth bolted to the plate and scored a go-ahead run earlier for the White Sox. Alexander rolls it out to the shortstop, picked up by Acuna. Sidearm sling over to first. Alexander's retired. And there's one down here in the top of the ninth inning. We check some of the other scores on the Johns Hopkins Medicine out-of-town scoreboard. Teoscar Hernandez, Freddie Freeman, they've got RBIs in support of Shohei Ohtani, who's on the bump north of the border today. Dodgers making their first trip to Toronto since winning the World Series. They took their second consecutive World Championship in a dramatic Game 7. Here's a pitch to Gunnar Henderson, and he pokes it inside the third base bag and up the left field line. As far as opposite field as you can go by Gunnar Henderson, and he drops in the double. Henderson is aboard for the second time today. He's got another extra base hit, give him his 7th on the season, as he just shoots that ball off the pull cue.
Taylor Ward must be saying, that's kind of my thing, hitting doubles.
Now hold on, buddy. Extra base hits for Taylor Ward in 7 out of the last 8 games, including a pair of doubles today. Henderson in scoring position. Schweitzer the left. Henderson on the home run that he hit yesterday. He said never the 1-0. Over for a called strike, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Taylor Ward at the plate. And it was a massive home run for the Orioles, the difference maker. 1-1, up and away on Ward. 2 balls and 1 strike. But I think we're getting to know the full Gunnar Henderson experience. The defense on display on this road trip, the power on display really all season, but certainly in the last 6 games. Now the personality is back. 2-1, rides high. 3 balls and 1 strike on Ward. No easy assignment either on deck. The switch hitting Adley Rutschman. And then Pete Alonso. Birds trying for a big inning. A 4-3 lead in the 9th. Runner at second, 1 out. The come home from Schweitzer. Breaking ball, line to the gap in left center field on the run. And reaching out. That ball's by the outfielders. Peters couldn't track it down. Henderson turns the corner. He will score. Back-to-back doubles by the Orioles. Ward will drive in Henderson. And the Orioles have some insurance in the 9th. It's 5-3 Baltimore.
Is that another double for Taylor Ward?
That's his 3rd of the day. Give him 9 on the season. Major league leader in 2 baggers. Taylor Ward. An all-out 2-bag assault.
Yeah, Taylor Ward doesn't care where you put him in the lineup. First, second, he's going to run for about 180 feet.
Adley Rutschman, that's right-handed, takes down and in, ball one. Left off on that out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Johns Hopkins Medicine. Dodgers in the 6th inning have a 2-1 lead over the Blue Jays. Rockies are trying to win 7-1 in the 5th over Houston. 1-0. Rutschman skies it up the right field line. Wynn keeping it towards playable territory into the corner. Harris is there. He makes the play. 2 down here in the 9th. Johns Hopkins Medicine out-of-town scoreboard. When joint pain gets in the way, turn to Johns Hopkins Orthopedics. Our experts provide world-class care to restore movement and relieve pain. Learn more at hopkinsmedicine.org/joints. Orioles trying not to leave the south side of Chicago disjointed. A 5-3 lead over the White Sox. Pete Alonso steps in with a runner at second. The pitch to Pete. Downstairs, ball one. Big day at the plate by Taylor Ward. He's got 4 hits, driving in 2, and scoring a run. He's at second. 1-0 to Pete. At the knees, a called strike. Pete set up the rally with 1 down in the 6th inning with a double. Then a hook to the gap in left center. 1 for 4 as he stands into the 9th. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He's behind 1-2 against the rookie. Rico is ready. He's grabbing a couple of sips of water. He's retying his laces out in the right field bullpen. Alonso looks out. And the 1-2 downstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ward the runner at second. 2-2 cuts through the breeze. Swing and a miss by Alonso. He's down on strikes. That's the first strikeout for Tyler Schweitzer in his major league career. He also allows a big run to the Birds. An RBI double from Taylor Ward.
Here we go. This is a classic road jersey for Boston. This is the first uniform I put on when I came with Boston. When you see those 2 socks together, that's one thing I know I had to do. I had to make sure I had my red socks high, okay? My 2 red socks, because, you know, there's 2 here.
We've got 10 seconds before the bottom of the 9th inning. Let's pause for station ID on the Orioles Radio Network. With Brett Hollander, I'm Ben Wagner. Orioles with a 5-3 lead on the south side. Rico Garcia in his first ever save opportunity in the major leagues. The pitch to Tristan Peters, outside, ball one. What a journey it's been over the last 7 seasons for Rico Garcia. Even what felt like a dream he couldn't accomplish, getting to the major leagues. Had the opportunity first with the Rockies in 2019. The 1-0. Outside, behind 2 balls and no strikes. But it was last year where he got his biggest opportunity for the team that he pitches for now. 20 appearances in the major leagues. By far and away the most opportunity that he ever had. The 2-0, high and tight behind 3 balls and no strikes on the leadoff man here, Peters. 9-1-2 coming up for the White Sox.
Well, he has certainly earned this opportunity, Wags.
3-0, outside, ball 4, a 4-pitch walk, and now that insurance run looms large with a 2-run cushion, but the tying run will always be in the batter's box here.
That's also the number 9 batter, and immediately, really good move here by Adley Rutschman out to talk to Rico Garcia to settle him down. He's been so good in leverage moments, coming in a fire, in a furnace, with bases loaded, 1 out, no outs, 2 outs. He's done it since last year. He's pitched in the World Baseball Classic now. He seems ready for this moment, and he's just been so good to start this year.
65th career appearance in the major leagues. His 26th with the Orioles, 6th this season. And you're right, he's been the fire extinguisher. Bases loaded opportunities, always a calm heartbeat, channeling his Hawaiian heritage. Tying run in the batter's box with Mydroth. The pitch, down low, ball 1.
Sir Anthony Dominguez warming up in the Baltimore pen. Or I should say, the White Sox pen, so used to saying the Baltimore pen for about 2 seasons.
Yeah, nope, that was last year.
That's the White Sox closer.
Paid him a bundle of money. He's observing this one. Orioles with a 5-3 lead, nobody out in the ninth. The pitch to Mydroth, inside. And it's rare to see Garcia with these kind of misses.
It's kind of interesting that a similar start that Ryan Helsley had on Monday and Tuesday, just out of the gate, not in the strike zone.
Garcia's missing with fastballs. The 2-0, fastball high. 3 balls and no strikes.
And I think that's Ynier Cano starting to loosen up already in the Baltimore pen.
The 3-0 poured right over. Mydroth was taking all the way, which you do in this situation. You just watched a 5-pitch walk to the number 9 hitter, and you're in front, 3 balls and no strikes. Rest of the bat. The walk to Tristan Peters is just the second of 16 batters that Rico Garcia has faced to reach. 3-1. That zips over for a called strike. The first to reach against Rico happened on Saturday in Pittsburgh, but he was perfect in the first handful of outings. Working in the ninth, a 5-3 lead. The right-hander fires, swinging a tip-off into the glove, held by Rutschman, and strike 3. 1 down.
What a comeback there by Rico. And like Helsley, kind of turned it on in the second batter. That's what we saw from Ryan the last few days. He walked the first 2 on Monday. Yesterday, he walked the first, fell behind the second, and then it's like the light switch went on. And he got serious.
Wake-up call received. 1 down, runner at first. And here's the big slugger, the big sign of the offseason. Murakami checks his swing at the first pitch. He did not offer at the changeup, so ball 1. 1 for 3 today with a single and a walk. 4 home runs on the year for Murakami. Tying run at the plate. The pitch to the left-hand batter. Swing and a miss. He sold out on the breaking ball. There's a lot of swing and miss in his game. It's the reason that he wasn't coveted by more. This 9th inning is being brought to you by SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of the Baltimore Orioles. We've got a good seat for the finish here. The 1-1, swing and a miss. And it is 1-2. A short lead by Peters over at first, being held by Mountcastle. 2-run lead in the ninth. 1 out. And the 1-2 pitch. Fouled back past our left shoulder. Out of the upper deck and then down to the lower bowl and raced after by a youngster trying to corral it, and now he's got it. Much to the delight of much of the third base side. It'd be the light of Birdland to see a double play ball. Runner at first. Decent speed with Peters. Murakami in the batter's box. And the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Got him with a changeup. Back-to-back strikeouts after the walk from Garcia, and there are 2 away. And Miguel Vargas will come to the plate.
You talk to any baseball person, any manager, and they'll tell you, for a relief pitcher, you can be as good as can be. At any point in the ball game, the 9th inning is just different.
Work your way backwards. The toughest outs are usually the final 3. And strike 1 on a swing and a miss by Miguel Vargas.
Well, you're going to get the opponent's best. And as Buck Showalter used to say, there's a finality to it. But for relief pitchers, the save stat is the stat.
0-1 the count. Vargas looks out for the right-handed box. The pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. That's the curve that bounces in. Again, after the leadoff walk, 2 away, the tying run in the batter's box. Tavares has opened the gap, shading towards left just a little bit. Infield back. And the 1-1 pitch. That's high. 2 balls and 1 strike on Vargas, who's playing in that number 3 spot. 1 for 3 today. He struck out twice against the starter Kyle Bradish, who won't factor into the decision. Got an infield single in the 7th. 2-1. And a wrinkle and a slider in for a called strike. No challenge by Vargas. He dropped the bat and kind of hovered for a moment, but he did not challenge. The White Sox do have both of their challenges remaining in ABS. They're also down to their final strike. Tying run at the plate. And the 2-2 is just a little high. Ooh, that was close.
You can tell Adley had to pull it back a little. Worth noting the Orioles are out of challenges. So if there's one close, they don't get the call. They cannot challenge it.
So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mountcastle leaves tending to the runner at first. He goes, and the pitch is a fastball, called ball 4. The Orioles dugout was ready to erupt, but the heater just missed off the outside corner. Very close pitch. Second walk with 2 down in the 9th. Now the tying runs are on. And Colson Montgomery, the youngster, is coming up in the biggest at bat of this season for Chicago. It's not been an easy inning for Garcia. 21 pitches. Trying to slam the door and seal a victory for the first time in his career. 9 strikes, 11 balls.
You obviously don't want to walk Montgomery and push the tying run to scoring position, but he, in my opinion, is the most dangerous hitter in this Chicago batting order. On deck, you have Derek Hill. He came on as a pinch hitter, been around the block a few times, not known for his power. You do have Ynier Cano now readying the Baltimore pen. My guess is if this inning extends, this is it for Rico.
23 home runs in his first 80 games in the big leagues. He is a massive threat. Finished 5th in Rookie of the Year voting last year. Montgomery looking out. The pitch to him. Swinging a ground ball out to second. Jeremiah Jackson is there. He throws to first to finish the ball game and complete the South Side sweep. Baltimore has a 5-3 win in Game 3 of this series. What a rebound out of Steel City. They take all 3 against the White Sox, and they did it in convincing fashion today. Taylor Ward was right in the middle of it. The Orioles bounce back and will have a return flight back to Charm City. Very, very happy with a win here in Chicago. Rico Garcia gets his first major league save. He preserves the win after leaving the tying runs on base for Chicago. High fives, handshakes being exchanged over that